Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and for the love of Christ, this is the real episode 252 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast.
I can't do this again, man. You're gonna make me do this again. Okay, fine. Here we go. GG's! That's GG you're getting from me.
Yeah, guys. First off, that other voice, of course, is Mr. David Santos, a.k.a. Drawing Twister. Sir, how are you, sir?
Oh,
just how are you? We don't need to go into anything.
No. I had a whole spiel the last two times that we started this. But I'm just going to say I'm fine, and we're just going to move it right along.
Just move on to the next thing, guys. Moving on. So we're moving on to the next thing, and... first off,
this podcast was already taking too long.
If this is your first time listening to the show, thanks so much for tuning in. First off, go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. And, of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we normally do first is we go into what we have been up to, move on into some various news items, and then we finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's hot topic? Have game showcases killed our E3 hopes? So, yeah. We've always been, I don't know.
Mega fan.
We love we love
E3. It's the gaming holiday. It's the gamers' holiday. It's and E3 was the mecca where we all reunited. You know, we all pointed our TVs. Or pointed our faces to the TVs and to the various streaming services, mostly YouTube and Twitch, and we just watch a whole plethora of announcements, and it was always a fun, exciting moment. You know, you kind of knew, even though things will get announced here and there and throughout the year, but E3 was like the moment.
It was the mecca. It was the place where everyone there was there for that one thing, gaming.
Yes.
And most companies save their biggest stuff for that time.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, obviously because of the pandemic, mostly, but also, a lot of companies were already moving away. And now we have these little directs or these little showcases or, dear Lord, who knows what these things are. You know what I mean? But we have them in their place, and I don't know, they're a little depressing, and they never seem to deliver what we've come accustomed to, and so.
But there's no spectacle, and
there is no spectacle. Yeah.
No, there's no spectacle.
Exactly.
It's just here. Here it is. They don't have to mount a show for thousands of people or whatever many people will go to the press events and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Exactly. But so tune in later on in the show for that. But let's start with what we always start with, sir, and that is what we have been up to. What have you been doing, sir?
All right. Congratulations. This is the farthest that we have come on this episode. Of this doom of an episode.
After 3 times.
Which, by the way, we're going to apologize for the audio in advance. Obviously, our Zencaster failed on us, unfortunately, with a whole host of lags and stuff. And we're just Skyping it out like the old days.
Like the old days, yeah.
Whichever way you go.
I miss the old days when we were just recording in person on Audacity.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are the good old days.
Someday, when they don't make it illegal to make podcasts live. Man, what have I been up to? What have I been playing? Nothing new. I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima still, and
still, dear Lord,
game, I'm tired, bro. I'm tired. That game, I am not having a good time anymore. It's not connecting anymore. It's okay. So here's the thing. I used to say I'm not gonna criticize it because at the end of the day, this is a good game, and I still do believe that it's a good game. I'm not gonna repeat what I've said on every podcast. I feel like I've always, even though I'm starting to get tired and playing less and less of it, I still want to beat it, still want to complete it because it's a beautiful game and all that.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a game where it has already overstayed its welcome, and I'm not even past chapter 2 yet. And yes, you might say at first I was like, I admit it, it's my fault. I spent too much time on episode 1 or whatever you want to call it. But the more I think about it, the less I think that is necessarily my fault because yes, I didn't necessarily advance the story, but there's stuff that needed to be done is still there needing to be done, you know. And I mean, I fault the way that the story has, it's kind of branched, a little bit where it feels to me a little disconnected. And what I mean by that is I'm doing this for this person and then I'm jumping to another person and I'm doing it for another, I'm doing a different thing for another person, and which has never, yeah, it hasn't been an issue before with, like, I put as an example with GTA, but I feel like, yeah, it's probably now if GTA like kept doing that, I'll probably feel it because I've done it before already, you know. And it's just I don't know, man. It's not. I'm not feeling it.
I mean,
like I don't want
after
to
all this
abandon it,
time.
but
Yeah.
I think, like, I remember playing long open world games. Like Spidey didn't have that problem. I had a blast with Spider-Man. The last
Yeah.
game that I felt had that problem was because it was artificially created, and that was uh, Assassin's Creed
Assassin's
Odyssey.
Creed.
Yeah, and I felt, and I mean, and I played it. I played that game, but I played it in sessions. Like I will leave it and not touch it for months, and then I'll go back, and I kept doing that until eventually I finished it. So maybe that's what I'm gonna do here. I don't know.
What act are you in?
I'm still in
You
Act
still
Two.
act?
I'm still in Act Two, and I know that it's gonna have another act, obviously, because it's not gonna leave it at Act One and Act Two. I mean, I guess it could, but I guess it's not traditional. I'll be surprised if this is the last portion, but I still have a whole like a whole third area of the map which is completely covered in the fog of war, which I haven't gone to. So I don't know. But
Well, that's a.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, well, that's a bummer,
Yeah, well,
but it's understandable. Yeah.
it's like I said, it's not, this is not me shitting on the game being like, oh man, this is because the game is still a very good game, and if you enjoy what you're doing, then you're not gonna care about the length. But and what you're doing is awesome, but it's because it's the only thing that you're doing, it it kind of overstays its welcome. Like I said,
Yeah.
you kind of feel it, and that's how I'm feeling right now. Maybe I don't have to do anything. Maybe I'm obsessed with wanting to do everything on it. Not like the little, capturing the, I'm not going hunting for the tchotchkes. I'm not map hunting for the collectibles. I'm not doing that. But at least the missions, I do want to see, because I mean. It's also, I have never platinum a game in PlayStation, so I actually
And
never.
this was gonna be the one.
This felt like at the beginning I was like, man, the samurais are freaking us. This is amazing. This is great. And now I see you playing, Dark Souls. I see Chaos playing Demon Souls, and those games are, you're engaged. You're, engaged in the fight. You're taking skills. I'm here like just like, but not button mashing literally, but it's not having any problems with the enemies. And I know it's not that I am, the best Tsushima gamer, because I am totally not. It's just the game allowed me to become this OP, maybe. I don't know. Or I don't think so. I feel like maybe this game is tilted a little bit on the easier side. I don't know. Still an enjoyable game.
I would say so. It's much more accessible. So yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I can see it. Hey, Spidey was accessible in that game.
Very, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. But I have actually gone deep into the Division 2 again. And I'm not going to bore you with the details of the Division. You guys know what the Division 2 is and how it plays. Excuse me. Sorry. But I've had the grace of playing with our very own Chaos Reaper and our very own Dark Necromancer, Jose, who just recently, as recent as today, I think it was, or maybe yesterday, joined the group. I always thought that he was part of the group.
Yeah.
And then I say, oh, please welcome Dark Necromancer to GG. And I'm like, what? You mean to tell me this jackass hasn't been in the group? And I'm even bigger of a jackass for not noticing?
I guess that's true. But yeah, he mentioned it really, really early on. He's not into Facebook and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, and I hear this all the time, and I get it. I get it because Facebook is a cesspool. I get it. You know what I mean? It's no Twitter, but it might as well be. It's definitely on its way. So I get the reason why he wouldn't. But at the same time, I was like, man, just make it simple. Join the group. Don't do anything else. You know what I mean? That's all you got to do. But yeah, I'm glad he's there.
Yeah. So I've been playing the Division with them, and these guys they're a beast. Let me tell you. I want to say that Chaos might have started playing the Division when we got the free version. I could be wrong, Chaos, if I am misremembering, but I thought that's when we started, and we kind of played up to level 10, and that was it. So I had a level 10 character when I rejoined when I saw the upgrade on PS5, and I wanted to try it out. And next thing I know, I was like, actually, this is comfortable. This is something familiar. This actually feels good. It's fun. And playing with a gamepad is enough of a difference, but it feels fresh. And this guy, by the time I went, I found them. They were already like level 40 maxed out. And the good thing that this game does is that if I play with them, it'll even out the play field. So it will, even though I will retain my level, I'll still do damage comparable to their damage. So I had no problem just joining them, and they are monsters.
Yeah, they are. Been doing it for a long time.
They took me I'm 2 levels away from the cap in 3 days that we have played. Because we can only play on the Chaos days off.
Yeah.
Yesterday he took the day off, and I was too busy. I couldn't play. Actually, to be honest with you, I needed to spend time with my wife. The previous 2 days I was just all in on the Division, and I was like, no, guys, I can't today. Honestly, I need to spend a little bit of time with the missus. But I have a ton of fun playing with them, and like I said, they will go into missions that are designed to take a little bit of time and strategy. They'll just go at it nonstop, not waiting for me. Like, all I was doing was running behind them and soaking up experience, because by the time I had a chance to point my gun to someone, they had already dispatched.
They were already dead.
It was ridiculous. And of course, Dark is such a character. He is such a character. He almost killed me with laughter the last time I played with him. I'm not even gonna repeat the joke because it was super stupid, but he has a way of delivering them that it just had me like fucking like my sides were hurting. That guy could easily be a stand-up comedian. And the funny thing is that he has that attitude, like he just super funny. But you talk to him, and he's like a super humble guy and a
Yeah.
super nice guy, and it's just hilarious. He's just
Yeah,
all.
we are just chatting today about a game that he was playing that he had received like some sort of elite level thing, and he
Oh yeah,
broke it
fighting.
down to me, but it was, yeah, fighting him, but he broke it down to me, and I was just like, man, I did not know half of the shit existed in a fucking fighting game, whatever. And he's the frames and how he
Oh
was just,
yeah.
yeah, he was just breaking it down. I was like, man. So yeah,
He,
he's really, well, first off, congratulations to him again. I let him know, but congratulations to reaching that level, that, and I can't even repeat it now because, to be honest with you, I'm like, there was just so much detail. I was like, man, whatever happened to just punch, kick, and jump? You know what I mean? There's all this other stuff, and
no,
tears and
it's
all
all
this,
about
and
frames, and counting frames,
yeah,
and
it's
like,
insane.
and I cannot see. This is when I think of and I tell him, and he hates hearing me say this, and I apologize, but I do believe him to be like a true, like the true nature hardcore gamer, and I don't mean this in the
In the
jokey
negative
sense
way,
of
yeah.
hardcore gamer.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
mean it in the people that have that knowledge of it, because it was the same way with with the divisions, when he was telling me like how to spec, how to gear up, and what this what the weapons talents would do, and what decisions I should I should consider. Uh, and he will break it down into a way that, first of all, it was completely overwhelming. I will have to. Like, he could make a very good YouTube video explaining all that stuff.
yes. And if you're listening, Dark, you should make
Oh,
a
he
YouTube
listens.
video explaining that stuff,
He
because
listens.
it would be, first off, fascinating, and I would probably save it to my playlist and just keep watching because I need to absorb all that. But
Yeah.
also, there are plenty of people out there who would find it fascinating. So
Hey, and informative, because God knows that us two just old fogies just talking about the games of yesteryear.
yeah.
I'm not gonna cut it,
No,
for
no.
we're holding the group as much as we can, but it'll be great to have like informative uh, uh, information, informative gameplay, informative gameplay, and just like that level of knowledge. Because I don't play like that. I honestly, I don't play
I
like
don't.
that.
Yeah.
Chaos
You said
plays like that, actually, believe it or not, and
to
he
an
just
extent.
keeps
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and when you let him talk, he will tell you. He will go. Uh, Dark, just he loves sharing those details. That I think he knows that he's overwhelming us with some of the information. It's like, I know you have no idea what I'm talking about here, but hear me out, because this sounds cool, and you might grab something. And dude, I learned a whole lot.
Yeah.
I learned a whole lot about the freaking division, which I've been I've been playing for a while now, and and yeah, man, yeah. So I'm level 38, I think.
Oh wow, you're almost there.
Already, yeah, yeah, and yeah, I'm already at the level. It's like, damn, bro. In 3 days that I've been playing with you guys, maybe 4 hours, 4 hours each time. I forget, I love that. I love that time that we have, together playing that. But yeah, man. Other than that, I haven't playing anything else in reality. But I did watch a movie that I gotta say I really, really liked. That movie was actually recommended by you, Mad Dog. Was The Sound of Metal,
Yes.
and you spoke about this movie last week, and I was like it intrigued me enough to where the next day I wanted to see it. You know, I think I made it sound like, you told me about it, and I made it sound like, maybe,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it
Which is
intrigued me
fine,
enough.
because
It's
in
like,
my head, In
You
my
didn't
head, I
think
was
this was
just
gonna
like,
be
this
my
may,
kind of movie.
yeah. I was like, I don't know. It's like right on that line, and chances are when it's on the line, it's really on the other side. So it was like I don't know, So that's why I didn't push it, and I was just like, okay, well,
I have my surprises though.
yeah,
Like, Lady Bird. I like Lady
yeah.
Bird,
Labor is
and
great, yeah,
it,
yeah.
it's totally 100% not the type of movie that I will,
Nope.
that will like. Nope. It's love that movie. How? Why? I don't know. But yeah, no. Sound Metal, man. So you already just describe it. Rock metal group drummer, he starts losing his sense of hearing,
Mhm.
and I mean that's an insane struggle for him. I can't even fathom. I mean, it's one thing to it to be born deaf has to be I mean it has it's a I don't know, like I couldn't even imagine how difficult that is, uh having having your sense and then losing it, having your sense of hearing and then losing it, uh ha, I, has to
To be
be.
worse, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
couldn't. It's
I
hard.
couldn't
There's no
imagine.
way of comparing it, yeah. But it's like when you think about it, when you had
Yeah,
it and you lose it, you know what it
you
was,
know what it
and
was
you know
exactly.
its importance, yeah. But not
Yeah,
having it ever, while still a struggle, I'm sure, a big
yeah,
struggle.
yeah.
Um, it's
That's
also
why.
one of the things you never knew what you had. You never knew what it was. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean.
And I've always been like super fascinated to the point of that I actually at one point I started taking sign language classes because I wanted to learn how to communicate in that way, because I found it very useful, incredibly useful of a skill. You never know when it can come for you to use it. And also because I admire that, the determination of that, being able to communicate in that way, which is, I mean, it's more than learning a new language. It's more than language, a foreign language.
Hmm.
So it was some of those things. I'm not gonna spoil the movie, other than to say it is a great movie. You should definitely consider watching it.
It's free on Prime
And
if you're an Amazon
it's
Prime member. Yeah.
yes, I
Hmm.
would, yeah, that's right. It is free on Prime, and you gotta tell me more of this. Surprise! Don't be scared to make recommendations. I might pick here and there depending on how it sounds or stuff like
Okay.
that. But I like I like being surprised,
Yeah. Hmm.
with those. And man, I tell you, I mean, you're my bro. I can tell you, like, hey, dude,
That movie sucked.
fucking this movie is fucking garbage. Like, what the
Fucking It
hell? It's
Follows.
like,
The 93% on Rotten Tomatoes is bullshit.
it's bullshit. I don't understand why It Follows. It's a 93% anywhere, because that movie was a big waste of time. That movie was horrendous, and I don't mean it in like any like, oh man, this is gory or scary. No, I tell you, it was bad. It was a fucking bad movie, and I don't get it. Like, oh god. But then, you'll present me with, some gems. Most of the time, you're presenting me with gems, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I appreciate it.
That's the thing. It's either a gem or it's a stinker. It's
Yeah,
like nothing in
I
between.
mean, you wouldn't recommend, in your heart. See, I fault myself. Remember, I'm not the movie buff. I'm not the movie person. I have glaring holes in my movie. By the way, I actually I had that conversation with Dark of the movies that I haven't watched, and he almost had a stroke.
I'm sure.
He
I'm
almost,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. But I know. I mean, I know you're recommending me, good movies, and you appreciate them for. You always find something on them, and they either it makes sense to you, or you like, or whatever the case might be. And I know when you're making those recommendations is because, hey, this is a good movie. If you don't like it, that's your fucking problem. You know, I'm willing to
For real.
admit. I mean, It Follow has to be a good movie, right? Because 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, and of all the reviews that it has, obviously it struck a chord with a lot of people. Not with me. I tell you another one that was terrible. Frigging Lost in Translation. Fuck
Oh,
that movie. That movie was terrible. That movie, that movie was bad. It's almost a little racist, even. I hated that movie. But hey, it's another gem, evidently. So I'll take. It's not you, it's me. I know.
no, no. Hey,
I
hey,
don't
to each their own. To each their own, and that's the truth. I can always tell when I've walked into a film that everybody or I've heard is whatever that's really good, and then I watch it and I'm just like, what did I miss? Why is it, you know what I mean? Why is it, and yeah, sure, I can always find good stuff in it, but usually those good stuff, if it's one or two things, it's not gonna amount to a great film. So I'm like, okay, what did it, and it happens, it's one of the, it happens. Every having it'll right past me. I'm like, okay, I guess what it is. But I'm glad you liked Sound of Metal.
I have a
Tell me.
challenge. I was gonna ask you. You always find something good to say about a movie. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, I haven't watched
Oh, you
that.
haven't watched Sonic the
No, I have not watched it.
Hedgehog?
I'm
The
sorry.
best movie that came out. No, it's not the best movie.
No, yeah. Not
I
only do
just,
I not believe that, that's almost blasphemous. But okay,
I mean,
well,
better than the Pokemon movie. I'm pretty sure. I'm
well,
pretty.
I liked Detective Pikachu. If that's the one you're
Yeah,
referring to, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I kind of enjoyed and for what it was.
For what it was, exactly.
For what it
Yeah,
was, yeah, it was
yeah.
definitely okay.
I'm curious.
Um,
I'm curious to know. Like
about
what you
the
thought
Son of the
about.
Hedgehog. Okay, I
Hey,
mean,
it's available on Prime. I
I
think it's available
saw,
on
I
Prime.
saw,
Yeah,
and
there
even
you go.
then but here's the deal. The deal I have with my wife is just like, okay, so I'm gonna burn one of my on this movie.
No,
I'm
no, no.
like,
You gotta do that like hidden, like at 2 in the morning, like you're behind
on
him.
my by
You're
myself.
watching.
Okay, okay.
You're always like, what are you watching? She's probably thinking you're watching porn or something, and you're like,
And then she sees
nothing.
some
And then she
furry
feels
blue
like,
hedgehog, and she's like,
oh,
it's like that, isn't it?
I knew it. I know it. I always knew. I still love you.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
still,
I accept you the way you are, bro.
yeah, I said you the way you
Oh my god.
are.
So no, I was gonna say about Sound of Metal. What do you think about the character Joe? I thought he was probably such an awesome character, dude.
Dude,
I fucking love
you're
that
talking
guy.
about the deaf
Yeah, the
mentor,
dude with the
right?
long hair. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. No, I feel like he's the type of character that I have probably met in real, in real life, and that you just sit down and you listen to. They have a story to tell you about life and what you should like. They have a ¿cómo se dice? Un consejo. How do you say that? An
Uh,
advice. Like he could
yeah,
he could he
an
could
advisor.
get you
He's
out of
like
a jam with
an advisor
advice.
or like an old sage, or an old
Yes.
a wise man of some sort. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you can see, that oh man, dude, I was just like, I don't know who this guy is, but apparently he's an actor. I thought they just used him for the film, but he's been around for a little bit. I'm like, where the fuck has this guy been,
I
man? He
know.
played this role like amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another acting that I really like, the girlfriend. What's her name?
Oh yeah. I forgot her name in the
I
movie,
forgot
but
her name in the movie, but I thought she was fantastic. You could really like feel the confusion, the pain, the struggle.
was
Or she
was
was
it
so.
wasn't some of the like it's almost like the movie at some point sets it up to look and feel like something's gonna happen, but it doesn't happen, and it just takes this other route that you just didn't see coming. I mean, it's not
Right.
like super drastic or like that, but it's like you start, because we've seen so many films. You start kind of pinning up, going, well, every movie's gonna walk into these type of tropes, whatever. And this movie just like avoided all those. I don't want to be specific, but um, just things with the girlfriend, things with how it ends towards the end, and it's just
Yeah.
like you're expecting that that's probably what's going to happen here because you've
Hmm.
seen it so many times, and yet
Yeah.
something else happens, or maybe it does, but it does it in a completely different way you just didn't
Yeah.
see. Um, and I think it was a very mature film. I think
Yeah.
the best way to say it, a lesser film would have taken advantage of those tropes, but here they're like, how do we do this different? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And dude, it's such a strong film, man. I'm glad you
It
liked it.
it was very it's definitely very powerful. Her name is Lou, by the way. I
Lou,
just saw
yes,
it.
yes, Lou.
Yeah, Lou. Yeah. You can see, and the guy was Ruben. And like you. Oh, actually, I was gonna say something and then I realized, oh wait a minute, this is actually gonna go into spoiler territory. So I know, guys, you should watch that movie. It's
For
it's
sure.
it's really good. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I told my wife, okay, we're gonna watch a movie. She gets excited. Oh, what movie is that? Called The Sound of Metal. And she's like, oh, it's not gonna be some fantasy thing, is it?
Wow. Did you
First of all,
mention that it was a recommendation from me beforehand or after?
no, when I told them that's the most insulting part was when I told, oh no, this actually it's a movie. This is another pick, and she was like, oh, okay. I was like, the hell does that mean? So if I would have recommended it, you're putting it in doubt. First of all, how many fantasy movies do you think? If we haven't watched any fantasy movies, what's being picked by you? It's like, what the hell?
God,
Oh
that is
man.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Have,
yeah. No, but
have
she,
you
she liked
have
it
you
too.
good, good. Have you gotten the courage up to do the Scott Pilgrim with her yet or no? Not yet.
Actually, no, wait. Did I ever? Did I ever? I don't think. No, I don't think it has
Yeah, I
happened.
didn't think so.
I
Yeah,
don't
that
think it
was
has.
like one of your
I
yeah.
know. I wanted to. I sit down. It's like, and it just feels like that's a great movie. But at the same time, it feels like, honey, this is this is what I like.
I know
You
it, man. I know.
probably. By the way, my freaking battery here is suddenly dying again. So if suddenly we get cut down, I might just go like that, and you just keep talking while I replace it. I don't know what's going on. I think these batteries are freaking dying already. Good
Okay.
job, Steel Series.
For real.
Yeah.
All right. Well, getting into what I've been playing. First off, sticking with what I was playing last week, I finally finished Dark Souls Remastered.
What?
Yes, it's so
Dude!
freaking dude. That game.
Congratulations, man. That was
Thank
a
you.
game that that game you've been pursuing that for a little
Yes.
bit.
Yes. Yes.
That was
Uh,
something from when you started playing on PS3, and then you couldn't anymore because of that area. That what's it called?
Light
The
Town. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Light Town. Yeah.
yeah. So basically to kind of fill everybody in, I started playing back on PlayStation 3 and I was like into it. I was just all into it. And yeah, the whole thing, the game itself wasn't running at, optimal frame rate. But at the same time it was tolerable. I was like, well, I can deal with this. But dude, whenever you got into Blighttown, it just slowed to a crawl. And
Yeah.
then I found out later that it's not just then. You go into New Londo Ruins, you go into the fucking catacombs, and all of that shit runs the same. I'm like, oh no, no,
No.
fuck that. So I quit and really never went back. And then so I started the remaster recently, and dude, and not to mention that I finished the game, and then I started getting into the lore. Like I found a bunch of lore videos on freaking YouTube.
Oh
Holy
man.
shit, is that freaking thing like one of the most fascinating things I've ever learned.
Really?
Yeah, it is so freaking amazing.
It's not fantasy babble. It's like they
No,
usually
dude,
do.
it literally you can take it and you can mirror. I mentioned this before, but it's even more so than I thought.
Oh.
You can actually take it and mirror it to any other mythology, like Greek mythology or Norse
Oh.
mythology or Egyptian. All those things. Like for instance, you have
You're
the
talking Mono
the
Switch.
yeah, yeah. You have the Great Lord Nito. Great Lord Nito would probably be. you're equivalent to Hades or to any other, Lord of the Dead. You have the main dude Gwyn, and he probably, because he uses lightning, would immediately, kind of make you think of Odin. You know what I mean? You have the Witch of Izalith. You have these main three people, and then the Age of Ancients suddenly became the Age of Fire, and they're the ones who brought in the Age of Fire. So it's almost like that. You think of Greek mythology, where it was the Titans that eventually gave way to the gods. You know what I mean? So all that mirrors in many ways, but it has its own thing, and it's really, really fascinating. The game is, I think I grind so much in that game because I finished the game at level 99. And so you can apparently you can go past that, but I was moving fairly okay in the game, and it was thanks to Dark, because I took on the main guy at the end. Thanks to Dark, he told me that you can actually parry
him.
And I was just like, I haven't tried parrying any because most of the bosses are like fucking. You're not parrying them. So, and he's a big dude, but he's maybe a little taller than a lot of the knights. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And dude, I died the first time, but the second time, dude, I went in and beat him, dude. I basically parried him like 8 or 9 times in a row. I was like, oh, this is beautiful, and so anyway, it is an excellent game, an absolutely excellent. So much so that I have downloaded again Salt and Sanctuary. I've downloaded again Bloodborne. I am looking for ways to get Dark Souls 2 and 3. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm like in, bro. I'm just completely.
You're going for it. You're going for the soul. I mean, take a little bit of a break. Don't burn yourself out. If anything, if you're gonna go into something now, you probably should consider going into Demon Souls because it's the newer one, right? And it's the first one.
Yeah, I do want to go into. I'm actually probably going to go into Demon Souls first because it's literally one of the few actual PlayStation 5 games. You know what I mean? I just haven't gotten around to getting it. And again, I'm also kind of riding the high of the game, so I'm definitely not just going to jump into another one. I have 2 other games that I started playing afterwards, which I'm going to probably sit out this type of game for a little bit and then really let that desire to jump back. So when I jump back in, I'll go all head first into it. And but yeah, man, as far as this is easily I don't see anything. I mean, I don't see it now, but we're also just in February, but I don't see anything surpassing this as my favorite old game for this year. It's just so freaking good.
Honestly, even with when you consider all the old games that come out, like that's the one. That's the one I can think of. Hey, this is a game that I know. You haven't missed that many important games, but of the ones that you have, I think this was the one, and I honestly will see it also probably end up being your favorite old game.
Yeah,
and great for you.
To be fair, like you finish the game literally takes you right into New Game Plus. It doesn't take you back to the menu so you can select it. Nope, it starts a New Game Plus for you. It ends, credits roll, boom,
you're back.
Right back in the asylum. You're starting at the beginning, And at first I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to do all this again. Dude, it took me literally just over an hour, maybe about an hour or so. And I had already rang 2 bells. I was
already.
I was like, okay. And to be fair, it's more about knowing than it is about, me being OP, because I'm not. Because they are actually the enemies are much, much stronger. I show you that video of me getting fucking pummeled by a bunch of regular guys. These guys are like the
that was an army of skeletons that destroyed. But it was, it took an army.
Yeah. So I was just like, damn, and you just never know when you can fuck up. There was one thing, it was something else I did. I was just farming for a little bit, and I fucked up and slipped off the edge and fell. And I was like, you just never know. And but man, it is really. I can see why it became the phenomena that it was, and why it's led to so many that are called Souls clones. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because it's like I get it. They invented the maker of this. It just invented its own, and it's a all it is an action RPG. That's in its essence. That's
Yeah,
all it is. But it's just done in such a different way, where death
way
is
defined.
something you accept as just part of the game.
Yeah.
Uh, Getting hurt is part of the game. You know that I need to go here, I need to go jump over there. Whatever. All these jumps are going to be taking away from my energy because I'm too high. But you know that but it doesn't matter. You have to do it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's just part of the game. That's why you have the Estus flask. Just use them. Early on, I think you get very protective of those Estus flasks, and you realize that's why they're there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all you're doing is using them to traverse further and further, and eventually you get to another bonfire, and you get
Mm.
replenished again. So when you have a different mindset, it's like, man, this is it's just such a good game. I'm not going to talk
Yeah.
about it anymore, but so yeah, I did finish that, and I did start a new game plus, and
So, so
uh,
question:
uh,
do you feel like that? Will this game open you to uh possibility of trying games that are similar to this? Say, uh, I had the name of it and it escaped me. It has it just a sequel came out recently to it and
a sequel to it.
yeah, not Oni. No, what did you
I know what you're talking about. Neo.
Neo? There you go,
Yeah, yeah.
Neo. Yes,
Yes, absolutely, and I
yeah,
was playing Neo, and
yeah. I
the
remember
first Neo.
yeah.
Yeah, and I got to, I don't know. I think it's because it was very segmented.
Hmm.
It may have just kind of threw me off, but I got to another area, and there were a lot of like spiders and stuff like that. And I was just like, and those are the areas that just give me dread in every fucking game. You know what I mean? Lifetown is I don't like that. I don't like the catacombs because it's dark and you have to
Yeah.
deal with. And dude, when you get to the there's like I don't know, the grave of the dead or the grave of the gods or something like that. It is literally dark. It is just completely dark, and you have to be able to walk, in a certain area, and you can bring. Here's the other thing. I can put my shield away to bring up a lantern,
uh,
and then, of course, if you see somebody bad, you got to throw it, switch it right back out real quick so you can fight. And I guess technically you don't. You could just use the sword. But at the same time, I'm like, the enemies in the catacombs or those places, like you need a block, you need a block, or at least dodge.
yeah.
But the deal with dodge is like you don't know where to roll because you can just roll off everything, because you can't see. So that area, dude, that's like honestly, I was flying through my new game plus, and then it had me have to go to these areas. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to go through all that again. It's like it was
I'll put it
the
down here.
first time. Yeah, and it's like I'm proud that I did it the first time, but I'm like, man, if there's a way to get like if I can get the item that I need from down there some other way, please tell me so I can just avoid all this.
The win
But
button.
yeah, it's like, oh god.
Put a put a game genie on it. Give it to you.
Yeah. Wow, Game Genie. Damn. Um. So anyway, yeah, Dark
Sorry,
Souls.
an action replay then.
Oh. Then I jumped into Cyber Shadow, which I actually downloaded recently, which is a game
Oh,
from Yacht Club. Was not
yes.
developed by them. It's published by Yacht Club Games. And dude, this game is.
That's the Ninja Gaiden looking one, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is Ninja Gaiden in way more ways than
And the messenger.
like the Messenger. Yeah, the Messenger is great. It
Wow.
has similarities to it, but this, it looks, feels, the music, the cutscenes, the bounce back when you get hit. I mean, because that's in
Oh,
there.
I hate
You know what
that.
I mean? And yes, that shit is annoying. This is actually also a very challenging game. I will definitely say that. The checkpoint system is fairly okay. Um, there are some parts where I'm just like, where is the next checkpoint? You know, so it's like, what the hell? Because if you die here, you're starting all the way back at the last one, and it's just like, damn it.
Wait, so I don't have to be a hardcore gamer to be able to play this game?
The No, you don't have to be a hardcore. No one has
Okay.
to be a hardcore gamer to play this game, but
Oh,
it
good.
is challenging, but I'm also enjoying. I really, really am enjoying the game. Basically, it's almost reminds me a little bit of Ghost Runner in this story, where you wake up and you're being rebooted by a computer of some sort, and then now your clan has been eliminated because of some sort of explosion, and you're just kind of figuring out what's going on from there. And the levels are really well done. The power ups that you get are also pretty cool. There's this one where it's almost like a huge ninja star. Again, very similar to Ninja Gaiden, where it would circle around you. You know what I mean? Like a Ninja Gaiden, you would throw it, and if you jumped, it would right behind you, and
Yeah.
it would become this loop. That would just kind of circle. Here, it's not controlled by you. It's just circling you the whole time. And then if you
Nice.
swipe as it comes in front of you, if you swipe with your sword, it'll go out like that and
Oh,
yo-yo.
nice.
So it has some really cool, moves and stuff like that. And I just got the wall run or the wall jump or something. You can kind of wall jump. So it has your normal stuff that you would normally get in these type of games. But it's really cool. But it is hard. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of redoing, but I am enjoying it. And then I haven't finished it, but I'm kind of flipping between that and this other one. I got this because it was on the collection, the PlayStation 4 collection, or whatever you can get through PlayStation 5 now,
Uh-huh.
and
Oh,
that is freaking Crash Insane Trilogy, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
oh, Crash Bandicoot,
And,
really?
dude, Crash Bandicoot 1
Mm.
fucking sucks, bro. I don't know why this ever became a
Really?
franchise.
Running towards the screen. Who would have thought that was a garbage?
And yeah, I mean, they have a few levels like that, but that has, at least not yet, that has not even been a problem, dude. I am on one level right now, and all it is, it's side scrolling. It's a side scrolling thing. You're kind of going up. I don't know what the hell the area is called, but oh my god, dude, it's a long level, and obviously you go in with a set amount of lives, and if you die, you start at the beginning. You have checkpoints along the way, but if you lose all your lives, you start back at the beginning.
Wow.
Dude, the way it moves, the way you control, the way I feel like I'm at the very edge of the platform, so that's where I jump, but no, I fall because I
Oh,
platform.
wow.
I do mechanics are shit. They are absolute shit. And I'm playing this with the D-pad because when this game came out, it was on a D-pad. Yeah, you can use the sticks now. There's no way, bro. There's no way I'll be able to use the sticks on that because it just, oh my god, dude. That game, I can see that game claiming many PlayStation 1 controllers lives. Okay? Because damn that fucking game. I'm like, I get into it, I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't understand and I'm like, I'm pretty good at fucking platformers. You know what I'm saying? This is not, I'm like, I know I can do this shit. Dark Souls is a new thing that I just figured out. This I can do. I've done this many a time, and man, dude, I have no idea. I just like, did you ever play it? Because it's just, it's absolute shit.
I would think usually games that have like what do you call it? Mascots like that has never been my thing. I mean, obviously, yeah, I'll play Sonic because it was Sonic, and obviously Mario and stuff like that. But like I always put even Crash Bandicoot, which is actually a good game. Crash Bandicoot, no, sorry, Ratchet and Clank, I meant to say. Yeah. Even Ratchet and Clank, which is actually a really good game. I was putting them together, and Jak and Daxter and all those games. I was like, eh. But and now I kind of regret missing out on Ratchet and Clank, especially. And I've never played
Jak and Daxter.
Jak and Daxter, yeah, no. But I knew that Crash Bandicoot. The moment I saw most of the videos, of whenever they want to show gameplay of that game is just that character running towards the screen. I was like, nope. If there's one thing that I hate the most, more than horse riding on video games, more than fishing in video games, is running towards the screen. I don't care how good your game looks. I don't care. That is an asinine gameplay element that should not exist because you can't see the obstacles ahead of you, and it is an awkward camera angle in reality.
Yeah. I played it on those. It was like maybe 2 levels so far that I played on that, and they're shorter. Believe it or not, actually, now that I think about it, they're actually shorter than the other levels. Probably on
Batman
purpose.
Arkham Asylum did that. Remember the fight with
Oh,
Croc?
with Croc when he's chasing you in the
When he's chasing you. I
yeah.
was like, why? This game was great. Like, what you doing? We
To
had
be
to do this.
cinematic, to be cinematic on
So
the.
stupid.
I
Yeah.
know the reason why, but yeah, I don't know if I. And to be fair, I decided to look it up. I was like, I cannot be the only one that's running into this issue, and it's not. People, even with the insane collection, they're just like, oh, this is the same garbage it was back in the day. Like, oh, okay, because I never played
This
any of
was a
them back in the day.
skippable one. They needed a filler, and
I
of
guess.
course they put.
So I just might skip it and go into the Crash Bandicoot 2 to see if that's any better. But I don't know. This
Go to Ratchet and Clank. You never played that one actually, and
I did. Well, I played the more recent one was like 2016. That one I played that one.
oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So and yeah, that's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the new one.
Me too.
But yeah, this garbage. I'm just so pissed. I'm grabbing, like really gripping my freaking DualSense, like motherfucker, how the hell, So
You know what Dark
anyway,
said that had me like thinking now, or at least being very conscious about? Dark plays PlayStation 4 games on using the PlayStation 4 gamepad on PS5. He will not. He will refuses to use the PlayStation 5
sense.
gamepad on. Yeah, he will not. He will not. I was playing the Division 2. He was playing it with the PlayStation 4, and I asked him like, why? And he tells me, because of the way he plays, and he's constantly playing, and he tends to go through controllers, and those controllers are expensive, which it's absolutely right. It's $60 to replace one of those fuckers. So
I think it's
so he
more for the
was
DualSense.
probably
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so.
So he's like, no, I will use it on the games that are made for the system, for the system, and I can play these games with the PlayStation 4 and a controller. I'm thinking like that might not be a bad idea, considering, when you hear about the supposed lifespan of, or the rated lifespan of PS5 of a DualSense controller being rated at like 450 hours or something like that, some bullshit like that. It's like, are you kidding me? And it's not to be fair, it's not the gamepad itself. It's just some of the elements, some of the parts are allegedly rated for only like 400 or less than 500 hours of gameplay, which
Wow.
you convert in an instant. So, and whether that's true or proven or not, like who knows? But just having that thought has made me rethink that. I still have my PlayStation 4 gamepad. Maybe I should actually follow through with it.
I don't have it, but yeah, I can see your point though.
It's like the game, the PlayStation 4 games. They're not gaining anything by playing on the PlayStation 5, although that on playing on the PlayStation 5 gamepad. I mean, obviously on the console, of course, but using the gamepad with it, it's not like it is a massively different. I mean, you're using a different controller. That's all it is.
Yeah. All the
So
buttons are basically in the same spot.
yeah,
One has been renamed. It's no longer. It's instead of share. It's I don't know. It's called something else now. Capture or who knows. But yeah, no, I could definitely see that. But yeah, it is. And then of course now the alleged thing with the drift that actually happens, which only happened to me once, but it happened when I was playing Cyberpunk. So assume it was Cyberpunk. I didn't think.
Wait, how you guys? Yeah, Cyberpunk, of course.
You
How
know?
are you guys noticing that? Like, what is it that because I haven't noticed it, but maybe I haven't paid attention. Like, you
So
released.
for
Uh-huh.
Yeah, for me, I released in the sense that I wasn't holding onto the stick at all, and the character in Cyberpunk loaded from one it was like in the tutorial or something like that, and I loaded out of the tutorial, and when it got back, the camera was facing up and drifting like this, and I wasn't touching the controller or the stick at all. So I was just like, that's weird. But then when you center it again, it doesn't move
No,
anymore.
right,
It
right.
just centers back. Yeah.
It just means, yeah.
But
I guess
again,
it's a fault
that's the
that.
only game. Yeah, that's the only game that I've had that on. And again, because of Cyberpunk's issue, I just assume it was a Cyberpunk thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it's not. Apparently it's happening. This guy, Chaos, his R2 button has been messing up, where it's shooting all the time, depending on what he's playing. He was playing Demon Souls the other day, and his R2 button started to act up, where it's just he can have his finger off of it, and it's like he's holding on to the R2, and he's with the characters just like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, that's an issue.
That'll be enough for me to start, getting a replacement, or at least get another one when you can, and then send that one for
Send that one back.
fixing. Yeah.
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 I was like, hey.
I gotta pay attention then.
I have again. That's the only thing I've noticed.
Mm.
I haven't noticed nothing else so far. So hopefully that's the only thing. But
it's funny because I'll be very sensitive to frame rates and frame time, but I can't notice a drifting issue. I was even like, it bothers me finding out that there is a little bit of a perceivable lag between when I fire my weapon and when I hear it on the soundbar, and versus using the not the I was gonna say PlayStation 5 headset, but it's not the PlayStation 5 headset. It's a Steel Series one, but it's kind of like, it has similar technology. Anyway, when I wear the headset, it's instant. When I have the headset, the moment you press the button is the moment you hear the bang, and the moment you see the flash of the nozzle. But on the soundbar, I can almost see, like, it's difficult, but it's there.
Once you do.
I know when I'm walking also, I'm noticing also the steps are not like matching exactly with them, and it's driving me crazy. I will notice that shit, but no.
No drifting.
My control is probably like a freaking trackball now, and I don't notice it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I've been playing. I did rewatch Tenet, but I'm not really gonna talk about it. I just rewatched it because I had the Ultra 4K Blu-ray.
Was it a difference? Was it a perceivable difference, or did you?
There was some perceivable difference. There was one long shot because even Joe was just like, really, is there anything? It looks the same as the other one here. So I was like, I paused it on this long shot. If you remember the film, this is when they're gonna go up to the building and they sort of slingshot up to the building. So there's this really wide shot, and I paused it, and I said, come here, honey. We came up, we literally stood in front of the screen. It was like, you see how you can literally see all the details on these tiny little windows. You can see this person here. You can see, and this is a wide shot, dude. This is like buildings. And it's just like, you look, and I was like, this is why. And she was just like, well, you're not going to watch it for me. I was like, I know, but you could if you wanted to.
It's like knowing that it's there. Yes, you actually can't perceive it, but I know. I don't want to be missing anything.
Nothing at all. Plus, on his movies, he has this. I don't know I honestly don't know if it's a thing that the other one, the digital version does, which I technically own the digital version too, but it drops to like, it'll be in what like the IMAX full screen, and he'll drop to like the little bars, in certain points, and usually it's on purpose. It's usually when they're talking or there's just quiet moment. That's not going to be in the full screen, but when there's an action moment, that shit is always in fucking screen, and it's just gorgeous in every, just like damn. So yes,
All right,
is it 100% noticeable? I mean, or I should say, is it like a night and day thing? No, it's not like a night and day thing. It's just you can tell, and I'm like, okay, I can see why. You know what I mean?
Because I've watched this movie 3 times already.
It helps. That helps too. Yeah. But anyway, still enjoyed the movie. She still didn't get it. So
Still, yeah.
Yeah. And the last thing I saw was, and I think I was mentioning to you that I recommended to you and the missus, Black Summer, which is a Netflix series. And so I'm going to preface this by saying I get it. I feel the same way. Mm-hmm. It is about zombies. And zombies are about the most played out horror thing.
Zombies.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's not me. I'm just.
No, I appreciate it. You're making it for the audience.
Exactly. That's the groan. That's a communal groan of everybody. Oh, some more zombies.
Zombies, yes. But no, this I would say, first off, this is not reinventing the wheel, guys. This is still doing the zombie thing. You get bit, you change. You avoid everybody that gets bit, or anybody who's whatever. It's the normal thing. The acts of survival, where it's like, what do we do? Do we go out there? All those things are in there. So it's not reinventing the wheel. What it is doing that's a little different. First off, it is telling the story. Every episode is broken up into like anywhere between 4 to 6 vignettes. And what that basically means is that it'll start, like this episode will start, and it'll give you the title of the episode, and then it'll give you the subtitle of this next vignette. And then you watch the vignette. It'll be for 7-10 minutes, depending on what it is. Then it'll end, and then it'll give you another title for the next. Now, the story and what's happening in the background and the people, they're not always changing. It's still the same group as you're going along, but it's just looking at things from a different angle. There's one particular episode that's really, really, really well done. Probably an exceptional episode because it doesn't explain anything. You get it by watching it. And that will always earn so many points to me. Walking Dead was shit because, one, you had way too many filler episodes. And secondly, you have to explain how everybody feels and why they need to do this. And it's just like, oh my God, people
got to
stretch it. This,
they got to stretch it. So, yeah, of course.
This episode was the most well use of time. And the funny thing is, I don't even know why or how they got there at first. But by the end of the episode, not only do you kind of figure it out, but you also get the why and everything. And very little talking, but it's still broken up to vignettes. And so you see it from one angle, and then you see it from another angle, and you see from the group who was doing this. And, you go, oh, okay, That's why I say it's definitely a recommend, because it tells you a story that you're already familiar with in a very different way, but also doesn't hold your hand. Doesn't sit there with exposition, doesn't do all the unnecessary stuff. You get what you want. It moves at a very brisk pace, so there's no wasted time, and it's only 8 episodes, and the episodes literally range from a 27-minute episode to a 45-minute episode. So just, hey, this is the information we need to give you on this particular one, and that's all we're doing. You know what I mean? So really well done in that sense. But again, because it's zombie, it's not really, it's not a different kind of zombie. It's, it's a version we've seen somewhere at some point. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but I definitely, I saw the entire first season. It got renewed for a second season. But if it didn't, it would still have ended well, the way where it ended. So, so that's Black Summer, and that's on Netflix.
Summer.
And that is all that we have been doing. Gentlemen, we are back, and it is now time for the mouthfuls Games Radar. Oh yeah. Sidebar. You didn't see that one coming.
I didn't see that one going. I thought we were just jumping into the news since we have a fuck ton of news. But sure, let's grab another part, another section to an already full podcast.
Well, I wanted to.
We started 3 times, mind you, if I want to remind you.
That is true. Yeah, this is the third. Although we're doing pretty well on. Actually, no, this may be the 4th. Like we're on the 4th. We tried it 3 times, and 3 times it messed
and 3 times it failed. That's true.
Yeah, so
4th
right.
time is a charm.
All right, so we won't stick
Skype
on this. The game on our games radar for this week, guys, is a little title called Persona 5 Strikers. Just released earlier this week and has been on my radar, and I really kind of want to dive in. I'm not gonna lie.
I really kind of I love that enthusiasm.
I just man, I don't know what it is. I you know what it is? I feel like I missed the boat. And we tried, right? We both put in a good over 100 hours into or at least close to that.
Persona 5. I love the Persona series, and to be fair, Persona 5 is not a bad game. But it just felt like it was
really. I don't know. It just at some point it just took too much out of me. And here I don't know if this is going to. I don't think that this is going to be that type of lengthy game because the fights are not going to be the same. So
still an Atlas game, so.
Yeah, I know. That's the only thing. It's like I don't really play Musou games, so I don't know if I'm really going to enjoy it. Not, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but if the story's still there, you can always. I don't
know. Would I want to play this without finishing Persona 5? Like, I feel like I still have it. The other day I was playing it, and I was enjoying it, and I think I want to do that because I'm playing Royale, so we have that extra content and quality of life changes. So maybe grab that cheap and see if it sticks this time.
Yeah, but even with
the beginning.
Royale is that's even longer than the
longer. Yeah, that gives you a whole new month or something like that after
season or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know. I've been hearing good stuff about Strikers. A lot of people who don't even play Musou games and going, hey, this is actually a lot of fun. It looks just as ridiculously stylish as the the regular RPG one does.
What are Musou games? For the uninitiated.
So yeah, and that's probably a poor term to even but basically if you've seen oh my god, what is it? Dynasty Wars? Dynasty Wars, where it's usually one sole person against like these massive armies, where individually they are just fodder, for the most part. But as a collective, that's where the challenge could possibly come in. Yeah.
That's still kind of foddery. I think the fun of those is just I just wanna mash the A button and just destroy some fools. Yeah.
And so that's essentially what it is. Legend of Zelda had one of the Calamity. Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. I heard.
I heard that too. That's another Musou type of game where it's a lot of enemies coming at you, and I think it's telling a different story, even though it looks like the same Link. But anyway,
all of the Zeldas are telling a different story. So who cares? Let's not get into the timeline of Zelda, please.
Yeah. It's a confusing one, but yeah. So Persona Strikers is doing that. It again looks really stylish. Still has its the Persona attacks and all that, and really has that I don't know, just the what you saw in Persona 5 with that really cool
the stylized menus and
stylized
and the music has always been great on these games. I do want to check it out, and I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was that. It's already out.
It's already out now. Yeah, it came out on Tuesday. Yeah.
I'm gonna give my 2 cents on this one and tell you that my little recommendation actually.
Oh.
It's a game that came out.
Your game on your radar, you mean?
The game on my radar, yes. The game on my radar. I don't have too many on my radar, but the game that I'm definitely getting, Ghosts and Goblins, something something. I forgot. Was it Resurrection or
Resurrection? I think it's what it is.
yes,
Yeah, I
Ghosts and
think that's
Goblins
what it is.
Resurrection. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection came out on the Wii a couple days ago. Has been
The
reviewing
Wii
very well
or
on
the
the
Switch?
Wii, on the Switch. Sorry, on
Okay.
the Nintendo, on
I
that
was just
Nintendo
like,
thing,
damn. Okay.
on Nintendo Switch. Thank you. Uh, has been reviewing very well. Obviously, Capcom joined. I want to play that game because I am a fan of Ghosts and Goblins. Even though I mean, those games are hard as hell, and I never progressed too far, from them. Uh, then the NES version of that game was excruciating,
Yeah, it was harsh. It was harsh.
so difficult, and gamepad breaking almost. If not for all the times that I tried it, but probably all the times that I slammed that against the floor, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that game is so ridiculous. But I don't know what it is about those side scrollers. Like I always thought that the original Ghosts and Goblins was released in the 80s, right? 85, I
Yes.
want to say.
Hmm.
And that was the time that it was around the time that Super Mario was out, and Super Mario was already like a incredible, game on its on the fact that it was a platformer that scrolls, that you move, you're
Hmm.
scrolling the screen, in an era where most of the games were usually a static screen, or you will move like up or down, like elevator action. Uh, but you never saw a lot of those platformer, and this one was amazing to me because not only it was a scrolling platformer that it was hard, but the enemies were very interesting also, and every area seems so different that it was always fascinating to know, like the starting area was always the starting area and you already knew it, but if you were looking at someone playing and they were already like in that ice section of it, that was like
Amazing.
fascinating to watch. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
amazing because you've never seen that part of the game, and you knew that it took some skills or a lot of quarters to get to that part. You know,
Yeah, and it
and
was there's only like six levels if I remember correctly, like six
yeah,
total
and then
levels.
they,
Yeah.
they will repeat again.
Hmm.
Uh, the Super NES version, Goose and Ghost, was probably one of my favorite games. One of my favorite NES games that came out. I just love the fact that that game was so unique in it because it was an original title and it ran so well and the music and everything was there. It was like its own arcade,
Hmm.
So yeah, so I'm picking this one up, of
All
course,
right.
because
So his on his radar, Ghosts and Goblins
you don't care
Resurrection.
about you not got your attention.
No, I actually have Ghosts and Goblins downloaded on my Wii. And the most recent time I played it was here in his house too, but it's been a few years, probably a good 5 years now. But not only that, my nephew was playing it, and it was about who can get the furthest, right? So we play, see how far you can get, and you pass the controller around, and whatever.
Uh,
And we had a night about it. It's just like this is, and it
that's the
was, I'm not gonna
classic
lie,
way
we
of
had a lot
playing
of
that,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun playing that. And I was gonna say like he's young, and you know how fucking like the minds of young people, how they work, they're just snapping before you know it, they're just figuring shit out as they go. I'm like, man, give me this controller. Get out of here
Oh, they
with this
have the
crap.
Twitch skills,
They do, yeah,
We
yeah.
lost them,
So,
obviously,
oh
by
god,
age.
yeah,
You already lost them by
ages
age.
ago, yeah. So yeah, so it's definitely that's about the biggest connection I have with that and playing it back in the day. But back in the day, I remember just going, man, fuck this game. This is ridiculous. I can't go any further with
But
it,
you were playing the NES version.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I have downloaded here, the NES version. So I don't
Oh,
have this. I don't have Ghouls and Ghosts and or
you never played
Super.
it?
I think I
Super
did.
Goose and Ghost was actually the name of the. Yeah,
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 Super
you're
Ghouls
right.
and Ghosts.
Because everything was Super on the Super Nintendo, of course.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
yeah.
Super Goose
Uh,
and Ghost, yeah.
I
Oh
don't
my
have.
God, try
I don't
that.
have those. I can. I mean, I have the Switches. what is that thing when they have the thing where you can download the older games and stuff like that?
Oh,
They're
the classic
basically I
game.
have their game service,
Mhm.
and I think that one's on there, but I don't know. They're so fucking
Right.
just really tight when it comes to those older games, and it just like frustrates. Like, dude, just release them
Release
shits. You
them.
know what I mean? It should just
The
be
dream,
available.
the dream would have been like just
Yeah.
be the Netflix of this shit.
Oh,
It's like
yes, you
nothing
have
stops
all
you.
these wonderful things from back in the day, but no,
Don't
you want
trickle
to hold
them.
on.
Just have the whole catalog
You're
available.
trickling like the bullshit stuff where you go, man, no one played this
No one
game. Why are
play
you
it.
doing this? Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on there, but no, it's not on my radar. I don't have that connection. The only thing is that really that one night, but that could have been any other game. It would just happen to be the game we're playing. So,
Yeah.
uh, but anyway, so those are our selections. Persona 5 Strikers
Strikers,
and
59.99, I would assume.
the yeah regular old price, yeah,
All right.
59.99, and
20,
Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. I don't know the price of that one though.
29.99.
20. Woo, 29.99.
What are you talking about? I think that's really good for what it is, and,
Oh, I'm
and for
saying
what they done because it's not. It's not. I mean, obviously you could tell that they've obviously brought it to the graphics that you will expect from the Switch, nowadays,
yeah,
which is to say good, which is to say something, something good. I thought that
yeah,
was great. I could have seen Capcom asking at the very least, 49.99 or yeah, 39.99, 39. Let's say, let's
I
give
could
us
have.
some credit.
Yeah. All right. Well,
49.99 actually, because
those are those are our picks. So let's move on into our useless news, and I'm going to start with the free games that are coming to both PlayStation Plus and Xbox games with gold.
oh
Start
man,
with the
excited.
aforementioned PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus subscribers will get access to 4 games in March. And these games include the massive drop of Final Fantasy VII Remake, uh,
What?
Square Enix's remake of Final Fantasy VII that dropped literally a year ago. Will be
Yes.
coming to the platform, along with Marquette or Maquette, not Marquette, Maquette, which is a recursive puzzle adventure game from developer Graceful Decay. I've seen this game. I've been interested in it, like it's been on my sort of on my back burner radar, I guess you could say. But the fact that it's coming PlayStation Plus, even easier if we just tag it and move on.
Back burner
Uh,
radar definition: game that I will don't mind playing, but I don't want to be paying.
there you go. There you go. That is exactly what that means. And then of course, then you have Remnant. Is Remnant from the Ashes, which is a
Ooh,
Dark Souls inspired shooter.
yeah.
Third person survival action game is coming from Gunfire Games and includes cooperative multiplayer. And then finally, Farpoint, which is a first person virtual reality shooter, one of the
Oh,
few,
VR.
which was actually fairly well received when it came out.
Mm.
And I just that's all I know. I don't have VR, so I have no interest in that. But so those are the 4 games
Dude,
that are coming to PlayStation.
Final Fantasy 7. That's a huge deal. That is and granted, I know everybody that was excited about playing that game already got that game, and that's fine. It's not for us. We already got it. I freaking got 2 copies. I got digital and I got physical, um, for some reason. But if you were on the fence, uh, this is your vindication. I would say, if
Yeah,
anything,
this is
play it now because it's an amazing get for, and I mean, giving it for free, a game that I could still see maybe still selling. I mean,
oh yeah.
it's not
Oh,
charting
absolutely.
already
Yeah.
because it's been, I mean, it's been a year, but in a year and they're already releasing it for free. That speaks to the value of the PSN service.
Absolutely.
They
Also,
do give you good games.
for sure. And on top of that, I'm kind of jumping ahead to another story point, but just to mention it since we're already on the topic, uh, it is getting upgraded for PlayStation 5, and those upgrades are free. So you
Well,
can get game
hold
for
on,
free.
because you can't.
No?
They
Oh,
already
okay.
confirmed. Yeah. So
So you have
yes,
to actually pay for the game.
we're gonna get to that part. But since you mentioned it, yes, there is a version of Final Fantasy 7 coming for PlayStation 5. It's gonna be an upgrade. The upgrade is free if if you bought it digital, physical. Obviously, if you bought it physical, you can't get actually, if you bought it digital, I don't know. There's one way that if you have the PlayStation 5 digital, you're screwed. I heard. I don't remember what it was exactly, but
Okay.
I guess we'll talk about it on
We'll
the
go
news.
there a little bit. Okay. All right.
But they did specify that no, this version that you're gonna get on PSN, you don't get the upgrade. You don't
You
get
don't
the
get
upgrade.
the upgrade. Okay. Well, there you go. So that's
Can't
not many
have it
people are going to
all.
buying into those, I guess.
But still,
I mean,
it's a huge game to give for free.
it
You
is
know,
for sure. That is
you
for
know.
sure. And
Yeah.
it is a really, really well-made game
Yes.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
So let's take a look and see what Xbox is also offering. So we got
You know me.
Xbox Live Gold subscribers are getting a fresh slate of games with Gold for March. This time around, players will get access to 4 free games throughout
Okay.
the month. Perhaps the biggest game coming to Games with Gold next month is Metal Slug 3, which is the classic side scroller. Will be
What?
available on Xbox Live from March 1st to the 15th. Sorry.
Are you
Uh,
kidding me? This
wait. We're not done yet.
oh,
Let's get to the good stuff.
there's gonna be more. There's gonna
Yeah,
be
of
more.
course. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
All right.
you gotta
But
get the
you
rest
just
of it.
said this was the best.
That's what the article said. The biggest game. So
The biggest game.
the
Metal
next game
Slug is
is
the biggest game. No, may I know what the next games are. So you're gonna get Yonoid, and let
Yo
me
Noid.
see what is the other one, and Combat for the
Wow. For the
Atari
Atari.
2600. That's gonna be. Oh, I'm sorry, we're missing one. We're gonna get Donkey
Pete?
Kong, but
Oh.
it's that 25 the Atari version, the back one. Dear
uh
Lord.
closer. So you have Warface Breakout is also coming to Games with Gold this month. Breakout is the latest expansion for Warface, which is an online PvP tactical shooter that pits teams against each other in fast-paced matches. That will be
So
available.
generic, the video game.
That'll be available from the 1st through the 31st for the full month. Gold subscribers also get
Warface. For all those people that are playing Warface,
Yeah. You'll have more people to
you have
join in.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
Gold subscribers will also get access to Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse, which is a top-down twin-stick shooter with couch co-op. The game
Oh,
follows
that
a
could be
group
fun.
of mech piloting llamas as they
Nope.
face off against a horde of
Nope.
enemies
Done.
in
I'm
the
done. Nope.
apocalypse.
No. We're
This will be
fucking done.
available from March 16th through April 15th.
Asset
And,
flip the game. Okay. And they couldn't
and
even find decent assets, so they put a llama there. Okay.
And
Wow.
finally, players will also get Port Royale 3, which is a pirate simulation game that was originally released in 2012 on Xbox 360. Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Wow. This doesn't sound like don't get me wrong. There is an incredible value we have already, that cannot be stated enough. Incredible value on getting Game Pass. Obviously they have a winning hand there, and and thank goodness, because I mean, that's pretty much all you will probably need. I
yeah.
don't think anybody is rushing to get any of these titles that are released. Like, I don't even understand why they even bother at this point. Because you never, with the
Got to do
exception of one
something.
time that they gave, I think it was Gears of War 4, I
That was
think,
last
or
month, I think.
last one.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, with very few exceptions, for the most part, you're just getting like shovelware, uh, it and I'm sorry it sounds disrespecting to the developers of this of the smaller games. It's I'm comparing it with the offerings that you're getting on Sony, and this is not fanboyism because I am the least thing of a fanboy. You guys already know. I don't care about corporations, but let's be real. I mean, Xbox has its thing already. It's Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, you don't need to announce what's coming next month. You already have everything. Subscribe to that. Forget about the games with gold or whatever, because that's just like market. I feel like I don't understand why is that a thing. You know, you still have Game Pass if you're subscribed to it, right? I don't know.
I don't honestly. I think it's a shit offering. It's just. I mean, I'm just gonna.
They're just.
Yeah, it's an absolute shit offering.
I can't imagine. Xbox players being happy. Being happy with those. With those selections. Again, unless they are Game Pass subscribers, in which case they don't care because they have it all already. They're set.
Guess, yeah. I mean, well, that's the whole deal with Game Pass. There's still games that come in and they come out. It's like Netflix. It's not what's in there doesn't stay in there. It's in there for a specific amount of time, and most likely based on who's using and how often it gets even played, they'll move it out. It's like, well, nobody's really playing this, so not many people are going to miss this. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's a great value. I'm not taking that away for sure. It is definitely a great value. It's one of the best values on the gaming period. You know
it's what we were asking Nintendo to do with their.
It is. It's like Nintendo. And you know what? To an extent. Well, no. See, Nintendo's just fucking up because they have all these old fucking games. That is just like, dude.
Which is what people want to play.
It's
people
like,
are okay playing those old games because they're classic, nostalgic games, and that's what they want to play. They don't even have to do the effort of like bringing it to next gen or whatever. Yeah, sure, they probably have to pay licensing and stuff like that, but there is a business model for it that they're just leaving money on the table.
As far as like I said, the offering of Xbox, I'm sorry to anybody who has that and who looks forward to the next selection. This particular month, Metal Slug 3 is the best game they are offering. And Metal Slug 3 is a very old arcade game.
SNK
that literally has the 25-cent press start, thing in it because that's what it was meant. That was what it was. You know what I mean?
It was a Neo Geo. It was a
Neo Geo joint. Yeah. So it's, and don't get me wrong, I actually own Metal Slug 3, believe it or not. So I get it, but it is not. This is not. That's the best game.
Final Fantasy 7, Metal Slug. You're putting them like side by side. It's like, yeah. Anyway, we've more than murdered this course already. We should probably move on. And of course, I was not ready. Yes, I am, because some good news, or at least coming soon. Sony will reportedly is reportedly set to open up the PS5 for internal storage this summer. I guess it's kind of far, still that they're doing that. But hey, at least we know it's happening this year. Sony will open the PlayStation 5 for internal storage upgrades this summer, according to a new report. Bloomberg says this report for additional drives, that support for additional drives will come along a firmware update that unlocks higher cooling fan speeds to prevent the console from overheating. The next generation games for PS5 can only be run from the console's internal storage, which makes just 667 gigabytes available for game installs. When you consider the size of such some games, such as Call of Duty on PS5 will fill up pretty fast. Exacerbating the problem is the fact that currently there is no way to move PS5 games off the SSD. Thus far, Sony has not whitelisted any third-party M.2 NVMe drives for extra solid-state drive space. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm sure someone must have tested this already. It's just, it needs to be supported. It needs to be on a firmware update, the drivers for it or whatever. So I guess they're locked. According to Bloomberg, after the planned firmware upgrade goes live, PS5 will be able to take off the plastic cover of the PS5 and attach a new storage unit. Sony did not confirm the release timing of the upgrade, but it did say it was working to enable M.2 SSD storage expansions for PS5. In November of 2020, Sony said exploration for allowing gamers to store but not play PS5 games on a USB drive in a future update are underway. You can, however, store and play PS4 games from compatible USB drives connected to the PS5. And I think that's a good point to remember, especially now that we're playing a lot of like advanced PS4 titles on PS5. What I mean by advanced is games that are taking advantage of the speed of the performance of the console and are gaining performance. But those games, unfortunately, they do take up the space that they have always taken, and you put too many of those, and suddenly you find yourself filling up the PlayStation 5. Just remember, you can use a USB drive, a large enough USB drive, just plug it in and run your PS4 games off of that. It might even be a good idea to keep your PS4 collection saved on that.
Just in case,
yeah. Now, granted, you probably won't experience the loading speeds that you're experiencing now with the PS5 internal memory, but if you're having a space issue and you have a lot of PS4 games that you're still going at, like there are some PS4 games that I kind of want to have on the back burner or on the ready, just in case I feel the need to play them. Yeah. But I don't want to install them because of that space. And I forget that all I gotta do is just drop a USB and just put it there. Just play from there. And yeah, some of these games are getting ridiculously long. Like what the hell, Call of Duty? Why do you need to be a third or a quarter of the hard drive space of the PS5? Like what kind of crap is that?
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
At that point, they're not optimizing. They don't feel the need to optimize the games for space saving, And that's fucking. But then again, if you're playing COD, you're probably not playing a lot of other games, and I don't mean that in a
negative way. Yeah, but yeah.
I mean it in that. Well, you're invested. That's the game that you play. You're probably not. Waiting for Demon Souls or for Butt Snacks or whatever. When are you gonna play Butt Snack? Because I'm curious.
I considered it, sir. I had it tagged. Yeah,
I heard things. I think this might actually be something special for you. I think.
You think so? Okay.
Something tells me that you're gonna tell me you've been playing it, and dude, it's actually pretty cool. You're gonna be like that, and you're gonna tell me why I should be playing Butt Snag. And I tagged it just in case.
I was gonna say, I was like, if you didn't tag it, then that's your own fault, my friend.
No, I tagged it just in case.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. My next piece, guys. I don't know if you know, but Sony actually had a state of play this week. And I actually watched it all because I was curious to see what they were going with. So they started off the show with showing Crash Bandicoot 4. Basically, it's going to have a PS5 version, and that's what they were showcasing. Specifically, it will feature faster loading times, safe transfers, 3D audio support, adaptive trigger use, and other DualSense features, and the game will run at 4K 60 frames per second. So not really a big surprise that the adaptive trigger use is definitely interesting, because it's like after playing Astrobot's Playground, I'm like, ooh, I can see how that would definitely be used very well in any of these type of games. So I can't wait to hear how they utilize it. But next game that they showed off Returnal, and they actually showed off some of the gameplay. I don't know if you've seen this, but if you haven't, I highly recommend that you do.
I have.
just don't know about this game, and I'm a little bit concerned. First of all, I like Housemarque. I've owned most of Housemarque games. Housemarque has done fucking God, what's the one
That
that we did?
that
Alienation,
the
um,
machine, the
Next
next,
Machina.
yes.
Yeah, it did. What's the one that they did was like the PlayStation 4 launch game. Jesus
Oh,
Christ, Resogun,
Resogun, yes.
Resogun. And these are all great arcade type games, and they're amazing. They're really good for where they are. This is their first kind of game outside of this. Is definitely first off, it's a rogue like game, so
Hmm.
that's already a little bit like okay.
Yeah.
Um, the
For
other
us that don't care much about those type of games,
true,
obviously,
true.
if you like roguelikes, you're in for
You're in for yeah.
a
It
treat.
is if you saw the gameplay, it looks really really good. I'm like,
It
wow,
does.
the particle effects and all. It's like, damn, that should look good.
It does.
But then it's also $70, and it's like,
Damn
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
this is one of the games that are at PlayStation 5 games, not going to be available for PlayStation 4. So I can see why, and just by the look of it, it looks really good. And Housemarque has always been good at showcasing what the console can do. But damn, it's a hard sell. And even watching that, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I think Housemarque. I mean, I remember when Housemarque was very good at doing the arcadey, games, and a lot of people kind of got bummed out when they heard that they're not pursuing doing that anymore. Because I remember that came out right after the release of
Their last one. I
Machina.
can't. No, they did Next Machina. They did another one after that. Let me take a look. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll look
don't
it
check.
up.
And I mean those games. They were certainly interesting to see. I wouldn't necessarily say that they were pushing the limits of the capabilities of the system, but they did have some very cool visuals.
No, in
Then
what I'm talking about, like Resogun. I think this is just my opinion, but I think Resogun for a long time was the best PlayStation 4 game in the beginning of the
yeah,
PlayStation 4 life cycle, and
exactly
it's because
because
it showed.
there wasn't a lot of PlayStation 4 games also. I hear you.
Sure,
I hear you.
sure, but it also had I mean, again, they just what I'm trying to say is they use a lot of those like the exploding particle effects and stuff like
Yeah,
that. That's what they
yeah.
were showing off.
They
That
do
was
have some very
the
nice
showcase.
visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something that would easily slow down a console most of the time. So
yeah, yeah.
Matt
I'm sorry.
Matterfall was the game.
Matterfall?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was the last game they did.
how did that do? Because I don't remember that.
Not as good as it was not as well
Oh,
received as
oh.
Next. I own Next Machina, and I love that game. I played,
Yeah.
I did play it every so often. I never even bought Matterfall because it was the one game, and I don't think it received bad reviews. It just received average reviews,
Mm.
and sometimes that's even worse. So yeah,
You were you're almost there. You almost
yeah.
had. Yeah. So no, I saw the gameplay of this. Believe it or not, I was interested. If this game suddenly starts reviewing very well, sure, I'll give it a go because it looks interesting. It looks like the type of game where even though you start over, it still progresses some sort of story, or that's what I get from the
Yeah,
trailer.
that's what I was
Uh,
thinking too. Yeah,
and that could be something special, especially if I'm progressing. But I guess that will be in the review, right? It'll say yes, it's a roguelite, but it's not like terribly hardcore of a roguelite. Uh, then I'll be all upon because it does look from what I saw, it intrigued me. Let's put it this way. Let's put it
okay.
that way. It intrigued me.
No, it definitely did for me as well. I really need to hear more about
Yeah,
it because even after this, I still not 100% sure what's going on.
yeah.
And when you don't know, and again, and I know this is a it shouldn't be a thing, but it is a $70 price point. That would be their most expensive game they've ever offered because
Mm,
most of the games range between 15 to 20 to $30.
mm,
This is a $70. This is a like top end, and it looks it.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong, the game looks really good, but it's and I don't know what's going on, so it's kind of a little bit of a hard sell.
yeah.
So that's why I'm a little bit just kind of like wait and see. We'll see.
For
We'll
a new
wait.
for a new IP, I mean, it speaks like there's something I trust I trust a lot of the Sony studios. For the most part, for the most part, I will say that they deliver uh, yeah, on the quality of their games. And sure, you might have the weirdness here and their faults there, but for the most part, if I hear that studio whatever from Sony studio whatever is developing a game, I'm gonna lend an ear. I'm gonna want to see more. How smart is Sony, right? They're not second party, right? They're owned by
They are
Sony.
second party. Yeah, I
They are
believe they
second
are.
party.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
well
game is
that
definitely
changes
their own
everything
game. It's a first party
then.
game. But I mean, they've done that all the time.
No, true.
Resogun's one of them. Dead Nation.
Yeah,
They might as well
good.
be a fucking first party studio because
Yeah,
they're consistently doing games,
yeah.
exclusively for them. But anyway, so the next game they showed off, which I'm not going to spend any time on, and that would be the multiplayer dodgeball game called Knockout City. And apparently they'll have a beta. Knockout City will be released PlayStation 4 on May 21st for $20. Actually, not a bad buy-in. It was also showed off at the Nintendo Direct, by the way. And again, there's going to be a beta. Next game they showed off was probably the trailer was fairly interesting. It was a game called Sifu, which comes from developer Slow Clap, and you'd probably know them from the game Absolver. This game showed off what looks like to be a fighting game, but not like a one versus one fighting game, more of like a
brawler,
an action game. Yeah, like a brawler. And it looked really, really, really cool. I actually shared it with the group, so it's on there if you guys want to check it out. But it looks really cool. And Sifu, for those who don't know, that's actually in Kung Fu. That's what you like in Japanese. They would say sensei to the master. Sifu would be how they would say it in Kung Fu, or I don't know. I don't want to say Chinese, but in that particular I don't know history. That's what they call a master. So it looks pretty cool, and I definitely it's on my radar. Next thing is Hyperlight Drifter developer Heart Machine showed off some actual gameplay of Solar Ash, and it will arrive PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 in 2021. No specific date was given. Game looks cool. It's a weird art design. I'm just not sure if I'm feeling it, but it looks all right.
No specific fucks were given.
Yeah, no specific. Yeah. First gameplay of Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was revealed. I have no connection to this game, so I don't know if you do, but I'm going to move on.
I mean, report on it for the people that are interested on, but
yeah. I mean, that's what they did. They showed off some gameplay.
Oh, okay. They didn't announce anything in particular. Okay, Five Nights at Freddy. Yet another one of those.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. It's said to be the most ambitious Five Nights at Freddy's game yet. So there you go. Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Then there was a trailer for Deathloop, and this is probably the one trailer that I have to say that I was like I didn't know anything about Deathloop. It just never been whatever. And then this trailer, I watched it and I was just like, okay, I kind of into this now. You know what I mean? It was an awesome trailer. Arcane Studios. It was a very James Bond like 70s trailer with the music and Deathloop. You know, it's like, oh, shit. You know, this is actually really cool. Yeah. And of course, will arrive PlayStation 5 and PC on May 21st, 2021. So it's on my radar. It wasn't on my radar before. It's definitely on my radar now. Yeah. Oddworld Soulstorm also got some gameplay reveal coming to PlayStation 5 PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 on April 6th. Believe it or not, the PlayStation 5 version will be one of the PlayStation Plus games for April 2021. So
of Oddworld?
Of Oddworld, yeah, Oddworld Soulstorm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's already going to be free for anybody who has.
Okay.
Yeah. So look forward to that. Yeah.
At that point, pick it up. I don't. Yeah. I mean, I recognize those games are great and they have this fan base. I don't like the design of all the aliens. They're so weird.
They are very weird. Very odd. Very odd world. Yeah.
Very odd. Oh, that's why they got it. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Mine. Imploding.
Imploding.
Yeah.
The game that they showed off some more to and even gave a release date, that's Kena Bridge of Spirits. This game just looks way too good, bro. I don't know. I'm a little bit,
Mm.
like, wait and see, but man, it looks really good. It will be available on,
Pre-ordered.
yeah, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on August 24th, 2021. And then, of course, finally, they showed off Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, because that name makes sense. Uh,
Interguard. I thought it
Integrate.
was Interguard.
No, it's Integrate.
Integrate.
Integrate, yeah. It will arrive on June 10th, 2021.
Woo.
This will be an upgraded version. Obviously, it will run all the good lighting and everything, which actually showed off in the trailer, and I was like, okay, all right,
Yeah, it
I
does.
like what I see.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it will also there will also be a new story episode that players can purchase that will feature Yuffie. This, from what I understand, this episode will not be available on the PlayStation 4 version. So I don't know if that's a good move, but whatever. I have the PlayStation 5, so I'm all
Mm.
right with it. But obviously, if
This
you have the
ca-
PlayStation 4 version, you do, and apparently not the PlayStation Plus one, but you would get the PlayStation 5 upgrade for free.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what, because they say, oh, this is taking advantage of capabilities, exclusive capabilities of the PS5. It's like, yeah, but at the same time, bullshit.
Yeah.
This you already, this is the same engine, and you could have actually just done a version for the people that have not upgraded or can upgrade or don't want to upgrade just yet,
Hmm.
to PS5. Also, it makes me think, so Yuffie's DLC, for a fact who's gonna be another optional DLC, right?
Oh
Because it
yeah,
was very optional.
yes, because they
Also,
were optional.
in,
Yep.
in the game, itself, I guess that's how they do their DLC, huh? Vincent,
Yeah.
whatever was his
It's in
name,
Valentine. Yep.
Vincent Valentine, optional DLC. You get a whole episode to yourself,
I'm just
but
curious to know
that's
what the
that's as
length.
much as you can get.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what the length of this episode is going to be, because if it's an episode, I mean that's, I don't know, bro.
Well,
How do you remember they wanted to do it episodic, and I truly
an
hope,
episode of an episode. Oh my, an
yeah, I
episode.
truly hope this is not the route that they're looking to take going
No, 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 no,
forward. Yeah,
no, no. I think this is, honestly, it's DLC for this package, uh, and it'll probably be, I don't know. It could be as little as 5 hours, as much as 12, if I had to guess. It's not gonna be something lengthy, I don't think. Like more than that. I'm thinking of the DLCs for Final Fantasy 15 for each of the characters, which,
hmm
well, relatively well received. My understanding is, so I don't doubt that they could pull it off. But
we'll
yeah,
see.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
I don't know how I feel about an episode in an episode. That's an episode square.
Yeah.
Imagine.
For the record, Final Fantasy VII Remake right now is available on Amazon for $30. So FYI,
Just wait
if you're
one.
interested. Yeah.
Just wait a couple of more days, and no, yes, and you get it for free. Actually, no, because
Well, you can't get the upgrade. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you plan to upgrade, get this one.
Hmm.
I have a copy there. DM me, DM me.
Gotcha.
Um, EA announces the release date of Anthem Next. That release date is never.
Oh my gosh.
BioWare and publisher Electronic Arts are giving up on Anthem. The planned overhaul of the 2019 game, referred as Anthem Next or Anthem 2.0, is coming to an end. BioWare said in an update on the status of Anthem. The studio will continue to run the current live service for Anthem, for the 3 or 4 cats that are still playing, I guess. There's a quote here that says, "In the spirit of transparency and closure, we wanted to share that we have made the difficult decision to stop our new development work on Anthem, also known as Anthem Next." BioWare executive producer Christian Daly said in a post on the BioWare blog. His quote continues, We will, however, continue to keep Anthem live service running as it exists today." End quote. Daly also noted that the COVID-19 pandemic and work from home orders had an impact in our productivity. End quote. I know this will be disappointing to the community of Anthem players that have been excited to see the improvement we have been working on. It's also disappointing for the team who were doing brilliant work, and for me personally, for Daly, I mean, Anthem is what brought me to BioWare, and the last 2 years have been some of the most challenging and rewarding experiences of my career. Game development is hard. Decisions like this are not easy. Moving forward, we need to laser focus our efforts as a studio, and strengthen the next Dragon Age and Mass Effect titles, while continuing to provide quality updates to Star Wars: The Old Republic. End quote. BioWare announced in February of 2020, a year after Anthem launch, to a tepid response from fans and critics, that it planned to redesign the game. The goal in overhauling Anthem was to reinvent the core gameplay loop, said the then BioWare general manager Casey Hudson. Hudson, by the way, has since left BioWare. And there's some of the stuff, more that he said on that very honest blog. I mean, there's no choice, right? There's no way of painting this. Obviously, I know it's almost Anthem is almost a joke at this punchline. It seems like the team was working hard on getting it right because they thought they had something special, and then the pandemic made it excruciatingly more difficult to achieve that in the determined amount of time. And of course, let's not forget they work for EA. EA is gonna EA, so EA kills. That's what they do. So
all I have to say on this is, I called this. I called this
everybody.
a while back.
Yeah, I think the writing was on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a year literally wasted, because as the further it kept going, the more hopes you keep alive, right? Because it's like, well, they're still working on it. They're showing updates, and they have your regular stuff on their blog, and you go, okay, well, hey, this is actually gonna happen. Man, I can't wait for and we've seen the progress that other games have done. No Man's Sky, Final Fantasy 14. Where you go, oh, okay, it is possible to claw your way back into the into good graces. And no, not when it's EA, because EA is gonna EA, and at some point they're gonna look at the pennies and look at the numbers, and as always, it's gonna be, well, if it's already costing us too much, and it's probably gonna cost us more,
it's probably not gonna recoup.
It's probably not gonna recoup it, which, like it or not, I don't think No Man's Sky ever recouped anything. You know what I mean? So it was already a dumb venture to go down this road if you are thinking to recoup and make something. You know what I mean?
I'm not ready to say that myself personally, just because
I am ready to say that.
Sheer amount of I see that game charting on Steam, a lot. Remember
which one?
No Man's Sky.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No Man's Sky. I mean No Man's Sky. Yeah,
sure, but they're also not taking any money anywhere. So they
I don't see them developing more if they weren't making money. That's what I'm saying. Obviously,
no. I got you. But I don't think. Yeah, but that's also a small studio. Right. That's not EA. You know what I'm saying? EA has to not just recoup; it has to make on top of that, or Bioware, excuse me, Bioware also has to recoup and make on top of that so that you have some sort of revenue, and you can also pay all the hundreds of people you have employed with you, which is not the case for Hello Games when they have a team of what 15. You know what I mean? So the initial success and updates since then have probably helped them continue.
Yeah,
but
I do believe, however, that they were legitimately like I could have seen Anthem being out if it wasn't for the pandemic. I do believe the pandemic made it impossible for them to realize what they wanted to do. And I do believe that they. I mean, I would have bet it. Let's put it. I would have bet it they would have pulled it off. Pandemic aside, just because I see Square did. Square did it. In 2 years, and I feel like
but they did it regardless of the cost. They
right.
They
had the discipline. They absolutely had the
discipline.
That
this is going to cost money, and chances are we're not going to recoup that.
Also,
but what we're trying to do is we're trying to clear the name of Final Fantasy Online.
Exactly. You don't want to destroy the name of something incredibly valuable versus EA with Anthem. It's like, well, this is a new IP. Nobody's gonna care if he disappears because he hasn't proven anything. It came out with the left foot and it didn't do very well from the get-go. So nobody's thinking positive of Anthem.
I mean, no, but I think also who's behind it also tells a story to say. Not only was it already expected to be bad before it came out, when we knew, we're like, yeah, we're not buying into that. I played the demo and all that. I was like, no, I'm not buying into this. So we already knew. And then once it did not make the numbers, we had already pegged. How many times have we put BioWare on the hot seat going, oof, BioWare going to get shut down any minute?
Yeah.
When you already have that expectation with the company, there was no chance that this was ever going to come back. So any other company maybe, but
to be honest with you, I'm worried. I'm worried about Dragon Age 4, to be honest with you, because when I hear them saying at this point, and I was gonna bring it as a news piece, but maybe we don't need to spend too much time on it since we're already in the topic of EA. That they were focusing on it, and they was Dragon Age 4 announcement. Dragon Age 4 is going to be a single player game. All right? It's going to be a single player game, guys. Fucking no shit. It's an RPG.
It's supposed
to be. Like, if you were already thinking that this was going to be some sort of like live service and you're pulling back on it this late in the game, I'm already worried about the title because you know that something's going to suffer, that it's going to feel like it has those tropes of, oh man, this is kind of like large and empty because it was meant to be a gas game. And now like that's
now they're having to reroute it again.
If you're rerouting this late in the game, in the development, although who knows, they might push it. I think one of the reasons to just scrap Anthem is also to put that talent to work on course correcting or fixing or whatever Dragon Age 4, because I have the feeling that things might not be so rosy on that side, and they know that they cannot afford to fuck it up.
Yep.
They just cannot.
That would be two in a row.
That will fucking be.
Actually, that would be three. Yeah, that would be three. Not only that, EA also canceled another one. Same thing, but it wasn't anything we were aware of. It was a game called Gaia that was in development for almost 6 years, but it was meant to be very similar to Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Odyssey type of game. Very open world, very big. Apparently wasn't moving along well, and that's another one that got shut down in that same conversation. So yeah, reality versus expectations, man. That's what it comes down to. But unfortunately,
we hardly knew. Another example of games that get mega hyped, and you gotta be careful with the mega hyping and the blinding fanboyism, because blinding fanboyism is what got even even people like us that preach, right, that preach against that, surprised and blindsided by Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. Yep.
We wouldn't have expected
Completely.
it. We
Nope.
would not have expected it. I mean, you were holding out that fort in the last second because I had
I
already
know. I
pre-ordered because I was
fell,
like,
dude. I
think
fell.
it's
It's like,
CD
fuck.
Projekt Red. It's CD Projekt Red. They're gonna deliver it. And look at me. And then you at the very last second, at the 11th hour,
It was literally
kind
the
of
day
failed.
before.
The day before.
Literally the day before I went and pulled the trigger on it. And
Uh,
and here I am. This is now what, 3, 4 months past. I've put in a total of three, maybe 4 hours into it. Started it twice, and nope.
you're
So
done.
fuck that shit. Yeah. My next piece, guys. Days Gone, and a
Oh.
whole slate of PlayStation games are coming to PC.
Ah.
Sony's Jim Ryan told GQ in an interview
Oh,
this
yes.
past Tuesday the biker fantasy zombie adventure would be available on PC this spring. Sony Bend Studios, maker
Ooh, ooh,
of the
ooh.
game, confirmed the port on Twitter on Tuesday. Excuse me. The uh, once console only, Sony has over the past year made more of its first-party PlayStation games available on PC. Horizon Zero Dawn went to PC early in 2020, followed by Death Stranding later on that summer. Rumors last spring, called for Days Gone, Bloodborne, Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection to get the same treatment, although Sony representative denied all of that at the time. So far, we don't have any other names that are coming over to PC, but you can easily expect maybe some of those titles. I mean, at some point, the well runs dry in the, when you're on the one side, and throwing it into PC, just another way of making some money. Clearly,
Yeah, getting revenue.
Yeah.
Evidently, Horizon Zero Dawn, even though it was it had a little bit of a jumpy start with, it kind of needed some patching, on
Hmm.
PC. Eventually nailed it, and it did incredibly well, if the reports are to be believed.
Hmm.
Um, who'd have thought?
Who would
you
have
get
thought?
you get PlayStation games, you get Xbox games, PC gaming, and then you get PC exclusive games also. So
Hmm.
there you go. When are we gonna make the move? When are we getting
Not
you the gaming
anytime soon.
console? Oh, not
Not
anytime soon.
anytime soon.
But, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Sure, sure. We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Yes. Maybe just in time for you to play. Cyberpunk 2077 developers locked out of their workstations following a cyber attack, report says. With employees asked to freeze accounts. CD Projekt Red uh, announced that the next update for Cyberpunk 2077 had been delayed until March, following a severe cyber attack that held the source code and internal documents to ransom. A new report by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, has now detailed exactly how disruptive the attack was, leaving employees locked out of their workstation for 2 weeks and scrambling to freeze personal accounts. Wow,
Mhm.
that's
Wow,
that that
that's
that's
insane.
that's horrible. That's horrible. Uh, According to the Bloomberg report, most CD Project CD Project, I'm gonna say CD Pro Wrecked employees are currently working from home due to the coronavirus pandemic. As a result of the cyber attack and CD Projekt Red's refusal, I should be calling them CD Projekt's refusal to pay the ransom, employees have been unable to log into the company's virtual private network for weeks. So they can't even log to the VPN, leaving the majority of developers unable to access the tools and systems required for their work. Some employees were also asked to send their computers to CG Project's IT staff to check whether malware has been installed during the attack.
Wow, that's
Getting worse.
gross.
On top of this, the report says that the hack may have exposed employees' personal information, such as their Polish identification number and passport details. CD Projekt apparently asked staff to freeze their accounts and report any breach to the relevant parties. The situation seemed to have been a complete nightmare for CD Projekt employees who, after being asked to work 6-day weeks before launch, then weathered the backlash for the game's many problems, now have to deal with their personal data potentially being compromised. As for fix, you should have fucking made this the topic of the week, honestly. As for fixing up Cyberpunk 2077, while one patch has already added some performance improvements and bug fixes, CD Projekt still has a lot of work on its hands to get the game running smoothly on base last gen consoles. And this cyber attack certainly hasn't helped matters. Man, what can I say? My heart goes out to them at this point. It's be like we yes,
it's a joke at this point. It's almost
we spend money. Yeah, but we spend money. They got us, haha. Dirty. The way they marketed the things. The executive team. This is bad. This is still like not the way that I would have liked any sort of retaliation. I mean, they had enough retaliation with the hey, you can request a refund because I think that's fair. Hey, you didn't deliver on the promise. Give me my money back.
Mm-hmm. But they also did that without actually speaking to Sony or to any of the other people.
Oh yeah, no, they have like there's no way that they have botched this. I'm just saying like the moment it gets to attacking the actual employees, with the personal information being stolen and stuff like that, like that's got to be a fucking nightmare. And I can't help but feel sorry about that, even when they got my $60, because that's taking it. That's too far. That is too far. Those people were super mega overworked because of their management and whatever, and now they have to deal with this.
Yeah, that's a shame,
bro.
It's a shame.
That's a nightmare.
You know what else is a nightmare? Google Stadia.
That is a nightmare that at any point Google's gonna decide to wake up from.
Pull the plug on. They're gonna anthem that shit. Thus far, it's hard to view Google Stadia as a success. The streaming service has failed to attract a large audience, and Google recently stopped first-party game development a little over a year after the service officially launched, leaving multi-platform games to fill out its library and putting its lifespan in question. This is despite spending a substantial amount of cash out of the gate to scoop up some big-name games. According to a new report from Bloomberg, Stadia boss Phil Harrison, who previously held executive positions at both Sony and Microsoft, wanted to make a big splash by paying tens of millions of dollars for games such as Red Dead Redemption 2 on the platform. It was a very bullish decision that, paired with the exclusive games from its internal studios, would have given Google a path toward success in Stadia. Wired was also told that Harrison wasn't being transparent with the developers at the Stadia Games and Entertainment. Just days before announcing the division was shuttering, Harrison had praised the developers for the work they had been doing. Stadia's business model is also different from some of its competitors, including Microsoft xCloud, which may affect its ability to attract those already familiar with the consoles. With Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, you can play many games on the console via download or go via streaming. Those interested in the former already have access to the latter, meaning you don't have to be pitched on the viability of viability or even the performance of the latter. It also gives users access to all first-party Xbox games without needing to purchase them. That's something Stadia can't match without its own development teams. And considering how much they were, if you put it into it, a little over a year that they're into the studio, so a little over a year that they've been paying salaries to this studio to make games, nothing to show for it, because they shuttered them before they even released anything. So that plus the tens of millions they had to pay to get those third parties over.
Mm.
That is a huge price tag. Now, for the record, this is Google, and we all know that they basically print money, but it's still a huge blemish and on Google, and definitely the nail in the coffin on Stadia. So
Google
when you
Stadia is on dead watch and it has been for a while, and
for
it's
a
just
while, yeah,
the doom clock is getting closer to midnight on that one. You just know it. You
yeah,
just know it that I can't think of any moves that will jumpstart this,
yeah.
and that's what you could tell. Like develop. I mean, there's some developers can't even they can't even work on patches of patching the games that they have released because they're no longer employed by Google, or the division got shut down. So it's kind of terrible.
Yep.
Kind of terrible. This is not terrible though. This is kind of awesome. The next piece of news that I have, Netflix, it's making a Terminator anime series. Yay! Did you know about that?
I did.
Oh, you saw it? All right. Ghost in the Shell and Haiku Studio production IG.
That's why I knew about it.
Attached.
Yeah. Yeah. Production IG. I'm like, what?
Production IG. Netflix is developing an original anime series based on the Terminator with Fame Animation Studio Production IG on board. The new animated series will approach the quote is will approach Terminator in a way that breaks convention, subverts expectation, and has real guts. End quote. According to showrunner and executive producer Arnaldo Martin. The project. Oh, sorry, I messed up the name. Mattson Tumlin.
Okay.
It sounds close.
Right. Yeah.
The project. Yeah. The project will be the Terminator's franchise's first foray into animation, following 6 live-action films and 1 television series. Fox's Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles.
So good. Yes.
Yeah. So you didn't tell me it was good. Yeah. Quote, Terminator is one of the most iconic sci-fi stories ever created and has only grown more relevant in our world over time. End quote. John
Derderin?
Derderin, yes. Vice President of Japan's anime at Netflix said in a news release. Quote, the new animated series will explore this universe in a way that has never been done before. We can't wait for fans to experience this amazing new chapter in the epic battle between machines and humans. End quote. Skydance and Netflix tapped Production IG, the veteran anime production studio known for its work on the series like Ghost in the Shell, Haiku, and Psychopaths, to develop Terminator. Matsushita Ichikawa, president and CEO of Production IG, said in the new release, quote, I asked my longtime friend and colleague Mamoru Oshii what he thought about the idea of turning Terminator into an animated series. His response was, Ichikawa, are you out of your mind? At that instant, I was confident we should get on board. As huge fans, our team at Production IG is putting their heart and souls into creating this series. We hope fans will enjoy it. End quote. Yeah, man, I heard that and I was like, okay, I am very all upon. I mean, I don't know much about IG production in the sense that I don't follow the production of anime. I do know, anime series, so Ghost in the Shell, obviously. I don't know what.
Need to watch that.
Yeah.
You have to. I think I've said it a million times. Check freaking YouTube. You have access to my YouTube. If it's there, watch it.
I don't know what haiku is. or haiku. It's probably haiku. It's actually haiku.
Well,
it just looks like haiku.
You ruined my joke. I was gonna say haiku is a poem. What the hell?
That's what It's a high Q. It's a high Q.
It's a high Q. Yeah.
It's high Q. Yeah,
Uh,
man.
yeah,
Terminator.
I'm looking forward to it.
He
Looking
said he
forward to
was
it.
gonna be back.
Yeah,
So
he did. And
he
he
did.
says that every time,
He
even in
said.
movies that don't have a Terminator. But yeah. Um, my next piece, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, took the spotlight during the recent State of Play, which was showing off new story content starring Yuffie and flexing the free PlayStation 5 upgrades. But two
What?
new Final Fantasy VII related games have also been revealed. And this is the first one called Ever Crisis and the second one called The First Soldier, both of which are mobile games. These mobile games seem to be some wild twists in the Final Fantasy VII universe in their own right. First, Ever Crisis is a remake of the original Final Fantasy VII, along with reimaginings of Crisis Core, Before Crisis, Dirge of Cerberus, and Advent Children. Sidebar,
Okay.
that kind of sounds cool. I'm not going to lie. Okay, that particular thing sounds cool. All right.
Sidebar.
Back to the article.
No, I was gonna say, Advent Children, not a great movie.
No, it's not a great movie. But if it's a reimagining, who knows? Maybe they fix some things. It follows the same timeline in a chapter structure, but with all new graphical style and visual stylings that bridge the game between the original Final Fantasy game and Final Fantasy VII Remake's flair, a demake of a remake, if you will. It's coming to iOS and Android platforms sometime in 2022. The other game coming to the Final Fantasy VII universe is called First Soldier. This is a multiplayer battle royale game that fuses third-person shooter elements with some action-based combat. RPG elements of Final Fantasy VII also coming to iOS and Android later this year.
Not doing that.
I saw the trailer for the first. Oh, actually, I saw it from both. And,
I saw it from both, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna stand tall and say that the first one, I'm like, Ever Crisis is like, okay, I kind of dig that. I don't want to play it on my phone, but I kind of dig that.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, it looks like something that I wish would be on the Switch.
Yeah, and you know what? It may be ported at some point. So look forward to that. Yeah.
Well, don't promise it.
I mean, I'm not promising. I don't work for them guys. Just look forward to it. You never know. Keep hope alive.
Start your petition.
There you go. I'll sign it. The second one, on the other hand, The First Soldier, just looked god awful.
It looked fucking terrible.
It looks so bad, and it is so off the mark as to the pulse of gamers. Not just the pulse of gamers, but pulse of Final Fantasy fans. It's like,
they don't. Right now on IGN, which is not even the official place where the trailer is being, was obviously shown. 3,600 likes, 3,700 dislikes.
Okay, so it's pretty split.
So it's pretty split, But on the grand scheme of things, having that much level of dislikes already should be sending a message that Square Enix is not gonna listen to, because they still believe that there is money to be made on Battle Royale, and that people are gonna just drop money into a Final Fantasy Battle Royale. What the fuck is that, bro? Like, what the hell is that? Why are they wasting resources towards that? Like, who asked for that?
No one. I was going to interrupt you before you even finish. No one asked for a Final Fantasy Battle. Now, don't get me wrong. I am sure, clearly, because you have 36,000 people liking it. So, yes, are there people who are going to be interested in it? Sure. Same people who liked, the Dissidia and all that, where I was like, I saw those games and there was nothing. To be fair, my son loves them. And this is not a critique. He enjoys the game. He liked it. And he's not the only one. On a couple of chat groups with Chaos, There was a few people who enjoyed it and showed it off as well. Luna was showing it off, and so I was like, this is not for me. This just does not look like anything I want to get down with. And this First Soldier is right on the line. Are there going to be people who enjoy it? Yes, they are. Are there going to be enough to warrant maintaining servers and whatever cost comes behind this type of thing?
In a world of Apex Legends and
probably,
Fortnite and
exactly.
No,
Let's think about it. The last live service game that went live and has remained successful is Apex Legends. Right? Can we agree with that? I mean, that's about and that's a few years now.
Yeah.
Since then, we haven't heard of any that have remained successful, and the ones that have come out have stopped shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, sure, Final Fantasy has a much bigger name than some of these other things, and maybe that'll carry it a little bit, but that's.
I don't think that's.
It sounds, like you said, it sounds like it's resources wasted.
I feel like it's Square Enix realizing way back in the day that, hey, this new game PUBG, something that they're calling it, that's something famous. Look, there's a little title that came out just recently that apparently seems to be doing some work, some fork knife. We should probably be investigating that. And they just decided to pick up their most famous IP. Let's face it, the most famous IP they have. They have a few, but they decided to go with Final Fantasy because it's the most recognizable and the most that people will probably say like, oh, yeah, awesome. What a good idea. What a way to extend the lore that to put fucking Battle Royale in a title on it. It's as if they were to tell me now that they're doing a freaking Dota clone or something, It almost comes in the, dude, where have you been? A, and B, like, who said that who tells you that this was a good idea? And it's not, when you see the gameplay, like, you'll be like, what's wrong with it? What's wrong? What's wrong with it? It's just, what's wrong with having the option of some? It's a new game. If you don't like it, don't play. That's fine. That's okay. I hear you. If I saw anything here that wowed me, that would have looked like, okay, this looks like some interesting take, then I would have been like, you know what? It's still a stupid idea because it's a battle royale at the end, but at least they seem to be doing something different. The different thing that they're doing here is that they're using magic, as if no other ones have used it. Yeah. And you see it, and you see it looks fucking terrible.
It does. It looks like shit. It really does look like shit.
Like, what are you doing, Square?
It's too little, too late.
Even for a mobile title, like, why?
That's even worse. That's really even worse. That almost shows what
the other one. The other one looks good.
Yeah, that almost shows what their own expectations of it is. Like, yeah, we're not even going to port this to consoles, even though they probably do better on console, because you could just get lost in the fucking mobile market. But I don't know, dude. I feel it's too little, too late. We already have these things going. They already have their communities.
More worrisome is the fact that they start milking the IP for what it's worth. They had success with Final
they've done that before.
True.
That's true. That's how we got
Darcia Cerberus.
They were like, oh, we've nailed it with Final Fantasy. We gotta milk it for what it's worth. And you got a bunch of spin-offs that half of them were garbage. The other half, you don't even know.
Garbage.
You don't recall what the hell they were. Well, no, there was I think Crisis Core or one of these that was really really well received. Yeah.
Crisis Core was still an RPG though, and it was for the PS3.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. I played that game. I actually beat
if
that
any
game.
Fucking game can use some sort of remake or port, it should be that one. But then again, this new Ever Crisis maybe brings some of that stuff. Yeah. So
yeah, I like this idea. It's like kind of expanding, and also it looks like, okay, let's actually. It almost, you know what it looks like? It almost. I don't know. Do we care about spoilers at this point with Final Fantasy?
Remake?
So,
7/7? Oh no, I don't. That's 20 something years ago.
If you guys can skip what I'm about to say here with Final Fantasy. No, but I was gonna
people
say
most likely already know
already know.
really
Yeah.
don't care. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So
Right. True. True. So it almost feels like this crisis. What do they call it? Crisis something.
Ever Crisis.
Ever Crisis. This is the real remake. Right? Right?
If we were
Like,
asking for it,
the
yeah, yeah.
remake. This is the real. Well, I don't know if I was asking for this, but I'm saying this is the real remake because
Yeah,
this
we
is
were
actually
gonna have to.
this is actually a sequel. This remake. It's actually a sequel, and this is the actual. Oh no, let's go back to the original events, and let's just add and modernize and whatever. That's what it feels like.
I
And
mean,
hey, that looks cool.
it does look cool. It
Yeah,
does. It looks and feels like the old one, but way more updated. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of down with it. The only problem is, like I said,
I
it's
don't
on the
want to play them.
phone,
I don't
and
want to
I
play
don't
them.
want to play on my phone. Yeah.
I
So
don't care. Yeah. Phones to me are not a place to play games. I'm not saying that they should not be. I'm just saying that it doesn't have it. It's never been something that
it's never the problem
I've
is that it
tried.
doesn't hold my attention. I have played, I have played
Yeah,
several mobile games.
yeah.
The one I played the most is probably Gwent. And that's probably the one that's held my attention the longest,
Mhm.
but I still only probably put a total of maybe 20, 25 hours. But it's all broken up into like
Yeah.
30 to 40 minute segments, you know what I mean? And that's because the gameplay itself is not very long. So, but to have an RPG to play on it's just, I don't play my Switch handheld. I only play my Switch handheld when my wife is working
Yeah.
because I can't plug my headset into anything to keep the audio from
Mm.
speaking, so I have to do it handheld. And honestly, it's the reason why it's catching dust at this point. So,
Mm.
um, yeah, but if they can port it, and there have been plenty of mobile games that have made the jump over to console,
Mm.
and even PC, and if they can do that, I'm in. I'll buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. My last piece, Destiny 2, the Witch Queen expansion, delayed until 2022. Sir, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sir.
Are we recording?
Do not tell me that. Yeah, we're recording. Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure because it doesn't say we're recording. I don't mean
Oh,
to scare you. I just didn't see the little thing that says are we recording. Okay, just making sure, bro. I just murdered
now
him
that
just
my
right there.
heart stops and I got resurrected real quick. Go ahead,
I
sir,
just
with your
murdered him.
last piece.
All right. So So, speaking of cruel death, no, this is not cruel. Destiny 2, yes, like I said, the Witch Queen expansion delayed to 2022. Assistant game director Joe Blackburn announces major changes for Destiny 2. Destiny 2, the Witch Queen, the game's next expansion, won't make its 2021 release window, according to a new Destiny 2 update for assistant game director Joe Blackburn. The Witch Queen, which instead will launch in early 2022 in order to maintain Bungie's standard for the health and the team throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Quote says, last summer we outlined our ambition for the next era in Destiny 2 by announcing the full arc, starting with Beyond Light, followed by the Witch Queen and Lightfall, said Blackburn. As we began to scale production on the Witch Queen last year, we made the difficult but important decision to move its release date to early 2022. We also realized we needed to add an additional unannounced chapter after Lightfall to fully complete our first saga of Destiny. End quote. The statement from Blackburn is pretty loaded. Not only does it remove the Witch Queen from 2021, but it also announces a fourth expansion past Lightfall, likely now slated for 2024, and implies a second Destiny 2 saga sometime after that. Blackburn goes on to mention that the Witch Queen will be unlike any expansions the studio has ever made, setting up a story that will span throughout the rest of the Light and Darkness saga and interconnect pieces from the original Destiny. Between now and the Witch Queen, Blackburn and the team plan on evolving other aspects of Destiny 2 by supporting PvP, adding new content, transmog, crossplay, and more. I don't actively play Destiny 2, but I recognize that game has had some major growth, and I really like what I hear. I really understand their decision to go CD Project Red on to not go crazy on trying to release this in probably what would have been holiday 2021, right? And just push it push it down the path, but also show how healthy of a community the Destiny 2 game is. And I like I said, I'm not playing it actively right now, but nothing says that I might not try to go back just to see how it has changed and maybe play some of that single player content. That was always fun, and yeah, I'm kind of excited to hear the plans that they have, for Destiny, and also considering that they have expanded Bungie, I mean, have expanded now to where there's going to be another studio working on a new IP, which tells me that they're doing really well. Now that they're separated from Activision. Who knew? Wow.
I think we both knew, but I hear you.
And now they know.
So,
and if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah. Fun fact: our very own Chaos Reaper actually was streaming. I think, if I want to say, it was last night, or maybe the night before. I don't know. He was streaming some Destiny gameplay, and he was with a group of. It was dark, and there was like either 3 or 4 of the folks that I just literally met through that stream at that point. I wasn't on the audio with them. I was just kind of watching what they were doing. And I found I found the gameplay and everything that they were doing. I was like, man, this looks like a lot of, I have no clue what the fuck was going on. There's just nothing, dude. There's no, I was enjoying what I was seeing with realizing that I have nothing to whatever. There was this one moment that they got their characters to almost like play an instrument or something like that, and they just kind of did it in a circle, and it was just like, that's fucking cool awesome, you know. And I was like, that is fucking awesome. I was like, that was so well, and I let them know, and the thing I was like, dude, I don't have no idea what you guys are doing, but that looked really cool, and everybody was just in, and so shout out to them, shout out to those people who were with Chaos and Dark, but yeah, man, you're right. It's one of those things where, again, this is a community. This is probably one of the early ones on console. You got your Final Fantasy 14, you got your Destiny, you got your Fortnite, you got your Apex. You have these communities are deep, strong, and you're not gonna really pull them away. You know what I mean? And so if you're not gonna pull them away, hey Judy, if you're not gonna pull them away, it's to release anything that is I guess to try to attract any of them over, it's a wasted effort.
It's a wasted effort. Yep.
I know. We just talked about it, but I'm like, Final Fantasy 7 Battle Royale, you're not gonna get any of these people. So
that's not how it works. Yeah.
It's wasted. You just wasted whatever. So, I have a few pieces. We'll call this sort of rapid fire roundup, or however you want to look at it. Starting with. First announced in 2020 at Sony's Future of Gaming presentation, Gran Turismo 7 has been delayed to 2022. The game from Japanese studio Polyphony Digital is a follow-up to Gran Turismo 6, pretty obvious, which was released in 2013. The last Gran Turismo game, Gran Turismo Sport, was actually released by Polyphony Digital in 2017. So you'll have to wait a little longer, guys.
That sucks. I'm really looking forward for that to that.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I like racing games, and
that's more of a sim. I didn't think we were into the Sims.
True, but I've always respected the Gran Turismo series, I hated the fact that every game had a ridiculous load time that will make me sleep between activities, and that's why I like it. And then Forza gave me what I wasn't really getting from Gran Turismo, but see, like what the last time that they released a trailer, seeing what that was becoming, had me like perked up. Like, okay, I need to actually see what they're gonna do here, and give me a Gran Turismo without load times, dude. I'm there, and that is $70 that I will happily give if they could make a good one.
Fair
I do
enough.
like racing games.
Fair enough. A little service called Paramount Plus, which is going to be the brand new shiny replacement for CBS All Access, is launching in the United States on March 4th. In a special event on Wednesday, Viacom CBS announced more details on the new streaming service. Service isn't launching with a ton of new content, but there will be many upcoming shows based on existing content. Yeah. Such as the Grease prequel about the Pink Ladies, and a reimagined love story. The service launches exclusives will include, the delayed SpongeBob movie, SpongeBob on the Run. Also announced are The Offer, a 10-episode miniseries about the making of Godfather, and an iteration MTV's Behind the Music, and a revival of BET's The Game. Not really a lot to go on there, so I'm gonna say,
yeah,
I'm gonna say that that's not really content. That's just like
filler.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna be the next free offering that I'm gonna get from some service that I'm subscribed already. Whether it's the phone or cable or my water, I don't know.
Exactly. And then the last little bit of news here. I didn't want to include this, but because you actually posted it on the group, I did want to address it. And that is Illinois idiot legislator is looking to ban the sale of all violent video games in the state, according to amendments that would adjust a 2012 law which currently keeps retailers from selling certain violent video games to minors. Documents were filed on Friday by the idiot Representative Marcus C. Evans Jr. In response to the increased carjackings and violent crimes in Chicago. House Bill 3531 would prevent the sale of, quote, all violent video games in the state. As defined in the bill, a violent video game is described as one that, quote, allows a user or player to control a character within the video game that is encouraged to perpetuate human-to-human violence in which the player kills or otherwise causes serious physical or psychological harm to another human or animal. End quote. A $1,000 fine was proposed for those who sell or rent violent video games. So I'm going to stop here with the article because, first off, it's bullshit, and secondly, it's also a waste of time
and it's a waste of our tax money.
It is for sure,
absolutely,
but it's also a waste of time because the Supreme Court has already ruled that video games are protected speech under the First Amendment. So this is literally a waste of time. So it can literally go nowhere, and yet there's still taxpayers paying for this dumbass shit.
I mean, this sounds so nice. This sounds so early 2000s. That it's ridiculous. I mean, we had now disbarred ex lawyer. Jack Thompson trying to bring a crusade against violent video games, where many studies have been performed, and et cetera, and it is all a slippery slope.
There's no link.
Exactly. There's no link.
Here's the deal: if there was a link to that, then the same link would come from books, would come from movies, would come from all these other things. Now, the conspiracy theorists can argue, oh, well, obviously they don't want to have all these entertainment things shut down because if we can find the link, then everything would be on the table. And it's like, yes, but at the same time, let's take a look at what has been said about any of these things, and they're all protected under speech.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is
again,
wasting.
wasted tax dollar money. Yep.
This is another.
Man.
This is another. Exactly. Another way. Like we are electing these people.
Yeah.
We are electing this.
You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what it is. And I don't mean to interrupt, but
I don't really don't have.
So when we have like midterm elections and the main elections, everybody always goes to the president, or everybody goes to the vice president, or whatever the case may be, or whatever person they know.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we make it a habit to every time we have the next portion saying, okay, this person versus this person, we start looking that person up.
Yeah.
Who are they? What do they stand for?
Yeah.
Does it take time? Yes, it does. But it's still our duty to do that, because you don't just want to put a circle on somebody. Oh, they're Democrat. Oh, they're Republican. I'm just going to circle their name in because they're of my party. That's not how that shit works.
No.
You need to know who they are, what they represent, what they stand for, what have they done, and what have they supported.
Yeah.
And so the reason why we have a lot of these idiots coming in here is because a lot of people just circle, oh, hey, he's a Republican. Oh, hey, he's a Democrat. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's why they're there. And that's why we have these issues. So all I can say is, GG, don't do that shit. Do your homework. It's going to take an hour or two. But once you're done, you can put that ballot in, and you made the
right choices.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can rest. You don't have to worry about. If everybody did this, we probably wouldn't have the level of corruption and bullshit that we have, right now, because they're corrupt politicians and dumbass politicians like this particular one in both parties. It doesn't matter what your affiliate. Stop fanboying about a fucking party. That's the end of it. That's the end of it. Just study the individuals. Don't study the things. Go like MacDog is saying. Study. It's just the problem is you. Yes, you, the person watching this video or listening is you don't want to do the homework. It's too much work. You don't want to vote because it's midterm election. Who gives a shit against an election? Well, they are as important as the main elections because of shit like this. They're wasting your money. They're talking about what? It's like not even censored video. Straight out banning. Like a person of a small level of intelligence, enough to be able to walk and talk at the same time, will probably realize that that's not going to fly in the United States of America. A person with an agenda, with a person of vendetta or something like that, would not care. And at that point, it's like it's on you if you put it if you put it on. I agree. Yeah.
Exactly. If you wonder why they're in office and you go back and you think about it, damn, did I circle that name? Fuck.
Yeah, you don't even.
Yeah, because of me. Exactly. Yeah. So you have only yourself to blame. All right, guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back with our hot topic. We are bad guys.
We are evil people. We're the villains.
Guys.
Also, we are back.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. Yeah. With his extendable back scratcher that is like really high tech. Actually, you know what? You know what that looks like? Please tell me you've seen this movie. And chances are you have not. Big Trouble in Little China. Please tell me.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Do you remember the hand thing that he brought up? Please tell me you don't remember that at all, do you?
I remember very little of that movie because I saw that movie when I was a kid. I saw that movie when I was a little kid.
Oh, dude,
that movie was too much for a kid, let me tell you.
I don't
I
know.
thought so.
Great. Yeah,
I
it
don't-
was awesome. Big
it was
Trouble. That should be our hot topic. Big Trouble, Little China, but it's not for the record. But no,
Let's make it. Okay.
there's a
Refresh my
scene when you
memory.
first see the guys with the straw hats
Uh-huh.
kind of flow down, and they're in the alleyway, and Kurt Russell and the other guy are in the truck, and they're like, oh my God, we got to get out of here, we got out of here, because there's this war happening, and they're just in there with the truck. They're just trying to find his girlfriend, and they got there in the middle of this war, and so you have the three guys in the hat. You have one who shoots the electricity from his hands. You have the other guy who's like a
Raiden.
really big, like thunderish guy,
Uh-huh.
and then you had what you consider the Rain dude, but he had the long hair, and he had these, like what you have, handheld things that had like these metal whatever hands, and that's what he was using to scrape people. It's like, what the hell? It was like some
Yeah.
wacky ass craziness. God, I love that movie, and that movie's bad. I would 100%. I know it is not a good movie. It is also probably a little racist. You know what I mean? But more than a little, probably. Now that I think about it, but even though, although I would say this, I would say you had many Asian actors in it. So it wasn't racist in the sense that you were having non-Asian playing the Asians, which I think is very racist, obviously. But it played a little fun with some of Asian culture, and I can see that being, I don't know, I'm not Asian, so I have no clue, but I can see that maybe rubbing some people the wrong way. So maybe it's not, racist anyway, but in today's day and age,
yeah.
Yeah. I feel
It's
like
a day and age where anything and everything could be misconstrued by everybody, because that's the world we live in now. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. But it's still a really good movie, by the standard that it's not, but at the same time it's pretty funny. The Pork Chop Express. I don't know if you guys remember. That's the truck that Kurt Russell's character, and he was walking on the thing and always telling stories to no one, to whoever's listening. It was like some weird. God, I gotta watch that movie again, don't I? Gotta do that.
And that was the topic. All right, guys. See you next week.
No. The hot topic again, guys. I've already forgot. Fucking hell.
First of all, are we recording?
Oh dear Lord, are we recording? Can you please not do this?
Just to make sure, because I don't see, like, it doesn't tell you anymore. It used to tell when it will be recording, and I don't.
It has a red dot, so okay. I assume and it says, and it has the options to stop recording. So I'm gonna go with that. It is
okay. I'm gonna if I was a betting man.
Yes, exactly. So our hot topic again, guys: have game showcases killed our E3 hopes? So I want to start off by saying, first off, that I was probably if we look back at some of the other earlier episodes, you probably heard me say that I kind of like what this is doing. It's like having little mini E3s throughout the year. And while that may be the case, when you look at more recent game showcases, and I'm going to point one out that's probably the most egregious, and that would be, and I have it on the image in the in our hot topic, and that would be the Resident Evil 8 showcase, which was, to say showcase is like a gross over exaggeration of what it actually was. It was like a 12-minute video that gave you some information as to what was going on, showed you a lot of what you've kind of already seen, and then say, hey, by the way, we're having the Maiden free demo available for PlayStation 5, and that was it. It was essentially it. You know what I mean? And it was just like, and I was looking forward to it because I love Resident Evil, and Resident Evil 7 was great, and this is a continuation of that particular thing. You're playing Ethan, which is the main character of 7, and I'm like, I'm in, and here you go through the whole thing, and I get nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like this wasted event. And I don't even, can you even call it an event? You know what I mean? It's like,
you got a demo. I don't know if it's an event, but it was it seems, and I don't mean to interrupt. Sorry, I'll let you continue. I just want to say it seems like this was a this was just an info dump, a small 12-minute info dump, for the sake of getting out there, but they called it like an event, like if it was a.
Correct.
I guess it is an event for the people that was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say everything has to be an event, and that's the issue. Then you look at Nintendo. Nintendo had their direct a couple weeks back, and that was just no bueno, bro. I mean, in essence, no bueno.
I heard people criticize. I heard people not having, high thoughts about the state of play yesterday.
Yeah, it's another one. But here's the deal. So when you look at it as an like if you were to compile all this information into an E3, then you sort of have you have expectations that everything's not going to be for you, but you're always going to get new information. It's just going to be this nice, like 2 to 3 day event that you're going to be like, oh, this will be great, all this, whatever. By these little minuscule things, you tune into all of. Let's say because I'm probably an idiot. You
like the same form.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it's like I can watch them later. I don't need to watch them live. It's not like they're live event. It's just a pre-recorded whatever. I don't need to be there for it, but I still want to be there so I can kind of see. And then you get let down because it's like, well, I guess that was okay. The PlayStation event the State of Play was also just okay. We've seen a lot of these games. Some of the games doesn't even make sense. Why is fucking Five Nights at Freddy's a thing still? I feel like they've shown this game off the last 3 times they did this. I'm like, is that big of a game? I don't even know about that game that well. So
it's a big. Here's the weird thing. It is a big. Well, relatively speaking, it is a big enough franchise on PC especially amongst people that stream those type of games because of the reactions that you have from the scare jumps and the stuff. Because that game is scare jumps the game, and if you're into that, then okay, yeah, I can see a lot of streamers getting a lot of people to see them go, oh, it's scary, and they want to be the next PewDiePie. Shit, that's a name that nobody has mentioned in a long time. But I don't think it's like something that you. I mean, I guess it depends. I didn't see the state of play. So did they mention it in passing, or was this like they spent time on it to showcase?
No, they. Well, it was another trailer. It was it's like a 3-minute trailer. Okay. But here's the deal:
that seems adequate.
Yeah, the last state of play, they showed off Five Nights at Freddy's, and the one before that, they also showed off. It's like, why are we showing it? Is it that, in my head, it's like, is that big of a thing that I just don't know about? Because no one in our group seems to be talking about it. No. And sure, our group is only about 500 people, but in the law of averages, if it's that big of a deal, you figure at least 30% of them will be, or at least, even liking the video, because they even put it out there. Nobody even said anything about it. It's like, so yeah, that's about as,
yes,
about as what I expect. But
that's scientific. Likes our scientific proof. Yeah,
I try to bring up a little bit. The scientific method is what
the scientific method. Yes.
But anyway, my point is to say that I was on the camp where I was enjoying these little things, and now I don't know, man. I feel that these little things are just distractions. And more often than not, more just plain old marketing.
So,
you know what I mean?
So, by the way, I'm gonna, if I go out, I'm gonna have to just take over me because it seems like the battery's asking me again.
Again? Damn.
No, well, I didn't fully charge it because, I guess I'm gonna buy new ones anyway. So let's remember how this industry kind of like shifted towards what we're having today, which is a bunch of directs and stuff like that. And I feel like the word direct actually came from the Nintendo Direct, which was the first one that decided to go this route when they realized that, hey, E3 is fucking expensive. It is expensive and I don't mean it just in money investment, but time investment and resource investment. Having to make a section cuts of games
Vertical
to show
slice.
gameplay, vertical slice. Thank you, that's the word. Of games to showcase for a few minutes on the stage. It's actually a lot of money and time and resources spent for that little bit, and also it doesn't pay when your show gets ridiculed because unfortunately it was a fact that Nintendo had they were very famous for botching it E3 after E3 with ridiculous showcases. Uh,
Wii Music. Yeah, I hear you.
there was the Wii Music. There was the time that Miyamoto-san was showcasing the Skyward Sword,
Oh
and it
yeah.
wasn't working.
No. Yep.
It was showcasing the capabilities of the Nintendo Wii, and it was horrible. Uh, there was there were many cases where
There were
the
many.
show
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
get
My
ridiculed
body is
because
ready. I know.
they were bad. Now the Nintendo fans were fine, were happy with getting the games. Uh, we're getting to see the titles, but nobody was else was responding to them because it just looked ridiculous. So they decided to not do the E3 anymore and decided to do this Nintendo Direct. And three houses during E3 they did their own thing, but for the most part they decided, hey, we're just gonna deliver our news pieces as we have them throughout the year rather than just dedicate in the middle of the year.
Oh, okay. In the middle of the year. So they just basically deliver them in little bits and pieces, is what he's trying to say, as he resets his headset, which I can agree with for the most part. But the reality is that, I mean, first off, I think that their directs have gotten better throughout. There's a specific one that
Hello.
I think. Oh, hello. There's a specific Nintendo Direct that I know is contentious, and yet I enjoyed the hell out of it because it had Muppet versions of all the freaking executives, and I
Oh,
know that that was not
talk
something a lot of people like, and yet
about the
I dug
treehouse.
it. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite Nintendo Directs, E3 Directs.
Well, they
Um,
did they showed that that method was working for them because of the type of audience that they have. Uh, the way of presenting in a whimsical fashion rather than having executive like like Sony
Microsoft
and Microsoft will do. They will have executives,
and Ubisoft and
showing
EA.
and
Yeah,
Ubisoft, yeah, exactly, and everybody else. Uh, it make it a little it made it a little bit more dynamic and less chances of fucking up because let's face it, a lot of it was pre-recorded also.
true.
So
Which
so
is good on in their thing because they have a habit of fucking it up. When it comes down to it, yeah.
with
Yeah.
music again. Um, and at the end of the day, it was suddenly not that much of an investment to the because they still need to get the word out there. Us gamers have always equalized E3 with like a holiday, like a celebration of gaming, and that's kind of on us for romanticizing that idea that that is what E3 is, because that's not really what E3 is on the core. On the core, E3 used to be the place where the industry people will gather and they will exchange business cards and they will have certain meetings, and yes, they will have the press conferences and they showcase technology and all that, but it was not meant to be like this public foray of this show, that we have gotten accustomed to. Um,
But it
and
evolved
little
to
by
that.
little, huh?
It evolved to that.
It evolved
That's
to
the
that,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it evolved to that. Then it kind of devolved at one point, and it kind of like
The
was
1 year, yeah.
reborn,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit. And the thing is, that's on us for for having that expectation that E3
No,
is kind
I
of like a holiday
disagree.
celebration. Well, it is in the sense that companies don't care about that. They see the opportunity to deliver their message that they want to deliver anyway without having to go through all the expenditure. They're going to take that route. And yes, Microsoft didn't do it, but Sony did. As at one point, this
That is
was
true.
even pre-pandemic. This was even pre-pandemic. Um, Sony was like, we don't have to go to E3. Look at what Nintendo is doing. We could probably pull that off. In more ways than one, because they ended up calling them the Sony Directs also, because I guess Direct became the
No, state of play. They call it
state
state
of
of
play.
play.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. They call it state of play. That's good. My bad. My bad. But it's still the concept was exactly the same. Deliver news as you have, as you had them several times, a year, and then leave E3. You don't have to do E3 for that, for that time. And Microsoft was astonished. No, we're gonna have an E3. We're gonna have the event. We're gonna have an event. The companies really don't care. A bunch of companies left. I think. Who was it else that it was it
EA,
EA? EA.
EA Play. They had to, which is their own thing at another place. Usually, it was usually like a day or two before the thing.
Mhm.
No, I get it.
It
I
was
get what you're saying.
unthinkable. It was
Yeah.
unthinkable that they were going to not have an E3. But little by little, companies were starting to jump ship and realizing they don't have to. And then the pandemic happened. And now they don't have to do anything at all, and they get to prove that the online delivery service works. That's why I'm saying. That's what I meant by saying that yes, we love the celebration portion of it, but it was not. It was never meant to be that. It just became that because.
No, no, yeah, yeah. Early on, it was all about the retailers. That was the point of
Mhm.
E3. Was the
Oh, the
retailers,
retailers
right?
exactly.
It was like, hey, Walmart, Target,
KB
whatever
Toys,
the big, yeah, yeah,
EB,
Best Buy. Here's what we have coming out.
Circuit
Here's what's coming
City.
out. Yeah, yeah. So that was the whole point of it. And little by little, it grew. But that was the whole deal. I mean, were they unfair expectations? Maybe, but at the same time, there were the expectations that they were making every year. It was,
True,
hey,
yeah.
we started every year for the consumer or the person like us who were watching at home, we were expecting more and more. It was the bigger, the better, the badder, and all this stuff. So is it an unfair expectation? No, I don't think so, because it was kind of that's really
That's
what
where it
the
was
ES
going. Yeah.
the ESA wants. That's what they're trying to
Yeah.
hold on to at this point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Because he makes them
so
money.
exactly, you know what I mean? So, but they know that, which is why they realized at some point it was waning a little bit, and they opened it up to the public, and now the public can come into the,
Yeah.
E3 when they couldn't before.
Now it's a
So
Gamescom,
yeah,
basically,
exactly. So
but not
the
as big.
expectation was there because of how it was evolving into that.
Mm.
And then it got pulled away because of the pandemic, and that is true. Nothing we can do about that. But I feel that these particular events or mini events or showcases or however you want to know it, or say they need to be. I think at some point we need to really, really, really critique them and just, you know what? When the showcase comes up and it does not do what it needs to do, then yeah, we need to put our comments in, or thumbs down, or all this stuff, so they can go back. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth, Nintendo Directs weren't great early on. I love that Nintendo Direct with the Muppets, but that was years after they were doing Nintendo Direct. It took them a while to get there. And because they were the only ones doing it, and because they probably took, criticism into consideration, it evolved to those things. Now, if you don't like Muppets, then you're not going to be into that shit. You know what I mean? So I
Mm.
get that, but at the same time, they did something different. It was fun. It delivered a lot of information. It was a full event. It was like an hour long. Now it's like these 20 to 30-minute things, and they're announcing it usually shortly before. It's like, so you've had to have recorded this easily, a few weeks back. Why are we just hearing about it now? You know what I mean? It's not
Mm.
like you have to schedule some place to go so you can have people. No, you're going to put this online anyway. So we should have known this for a while. And I think that I don't know, dude. Man, I just fucking miss E3, bro. You know what it is? None of these events, none of these quote unquote events, I can invite you over for, or I can go to your house to watch because none of them are that type of event, bro.
No.
None of them
It is
really shitty. I mean, if you compare them, you know what I mean? It's like, man, this is, and maybe it was because E3 was the, the fact that you had all these pieces together, because we were critical about E3 many a times as well. We would go through the Ubisoft and they would start off with the Dance Dance Revolution shit. You're like, oh, why are they starting?
We'll rate them at the end, but it was fun to do that.
It is fun to do that, but you can't do that now, and you can't even sit down and say, hey, let's watch this together, because it's just not even fucking worth it, bro. It's not even worth it.
You can get it on YouTube at some point, whatever. And I would argue that same thing with E3. Everything that gets announced, you will find it on YouTube later on, a little bit. But there was something special about being there for the press events and getting that information firsthand and seeing the whole show. And like it was an event. It was the Super Bowl of gaming, basically, and yes, I hear what you say. You say we should probably start, letting the company knows and critiquing this method of delivery
fairly. But none of this bullshit, insulting anybody. No, just saying, hey, this didn't work, this did. Maybe focus on this. Maybe bring this. You know what I mean?
Well, the problem that I see with that is that at the end of the day, it's almost like the way I see it is this: the companies do not consider it a failure. If anything, it's quite the opposite. The companies consider it a success because they didn't have to put too much money on it, and the same message got delivered. Whether the delivery method was boring or barren or whatever, or just that one little piece, they don't care about that portion so much as they care as
the message.
The interest parties understood the message. Yeah. So for example, yesterday's State of Play. I'd like to see what's next. I like to see what Sony have, but like I knew that I didn't have that fervor to go at it. Just basically like you're describing very well how a lot of us are feeling. Like it's not the same. I'll get the message later on. I got from that maybe I saw that you posted about that game that you saw that it was very interesting. That was the
Sifu?
Not Sifu, the other one that you said that, oh man,
Kina?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Kina Bridge of Spirits,
yeah. And the news about Final Fantasy VII Regard or retrograde.
Integrate.
Integrate. There you go. Yeah. That's what and to be honest, I went and searched for the trailers, but I didn't even do it right away. I just heard that it was, and okay, and like that, which sucks. But at least I got. I got. It sucks. It's terrible. But I got that. But the companies did not care about entertaining me with a show or anything like that, and that's the reason I'm very concerned. This has proven that yes, the method of delivery is monotone, but it doesn't matter. The message is still delivered, and this might actually very well be the death knell of E3. Because now they can show they have proven, they have been forced to prove themselves that they can deliver us, they can give us the news this way, and we'll accept it. I don't think that it's just gonna be like it. Like not everybody will pull off, right? The ESRB will still the ESRB. The ESA, sorry, thank you. The ESA will still put to keep this alive, and they will. I mean, even if they just have it with frigging like indies only,
Yeah.
they will have its case, you know.
Yeah.
They will have their show, but it's not gonna be the same. I mean, it
Yeah.
already did not feel the same. Last E3 that we actually have, last live E3 that we have,
2019.
there was 2019. There was a huge glaring uh, open wound hole
Because
of
PlayStation wasn't there.
PlayStation not
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
there, of Sony not
There
being
was
there. It was
something.
like this is E3, but it's not E3. You know,
Yeah. There
we're
was
not talking
something
about.
that took its place. Do you remember what it was? That because they always had the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock slot, Sony on the Monday night,
That was another
and
company. It must have been
what it was.
something else. Sony they just pieced out and of E3.
And you know
Uh,
what? I mean, this is gonna sound fanboyish, whatever. I don't give a shit. The last E3 before that I remember, they only had 4 games to show off because this was towards the end of the PlayStation 4's life cycle. They really have nothing else to reveal. And they spent a good 10 to 15 minutes on those 4 games. One of them
Last of Us,
had Gustavo, such I don't remember his last name, playing on the
uh,
guitar. They had to Last of Us 2. You had the Ghost of Tsushima, the guy playing on the flute with the straw hat. You had there was a certain uh I don't know. There was just a certain pride and really like showmanship within those events for 4 games. You know, it's like, sure, there's a criticism to say, well, they obviously didn't have much to say, but you know what? They took those 4 and they ran with them and
mm,
made those 4 the event.
mm.
I think Death Stranding was one. I can't remember what the fourth one was, but
Spider-Man, bro.
um, Spider-Man. There you go.
Yeah,
And so I get it. You know what I mean? But at the same time,
it
it just kind of
was.
sucks, bro. It
It was.
just,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it just kind of just burns a bit, and the sad part is because it's become so obvious to them that it can be delivered this easily,
Mhm,
and nothing really happens. Like you said, the message gets to the people who needs to get to, and those who don't care, well, they didn't care to begin with anyway, so we
yeah.
don't care about them. So, um, and on top of that, even if it's bad news or bad press is still good press. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So better
Because
than no breath.
exactly, it gets people talking about it.
Mm.
There's a game I think it was called Amy that was on PlayStation, like on downloads, and it was a horrible game. But because it was so horrible, and people were like, "What in the world?" You know what I mean?
Oh
It
yeah, I
was it
remember
was like on
Amy.
the
Yeah,
top. Yeah, it was like for some reason it was consistently selling. It's like, what the
people
fuck? You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't make sense.
play this game.
Yeah, it
Yes.
doesn't make sense whatsoever. So yeah, I get that. I look forward to the day that we have some sort of event. It doesn't have to be E3. It could be something else. Maybe, you know what? I'm gonna call on Jeff Keighley to
I was
say
just
he
gonna
will
say.
pull something together where it would just, outside of his game
Well,
awards.
he can't. I was gonna say he kind of is already, and probably
Yeah.
has his hands
Well, I mean, he
full
did
with it.
Summer
But
of Games, and he
he
did
did
Summer
Summer Game.
Games this way because he knew there was no choice. We don't have E3. We're all in a pandemic. It is like, but once we're outside the pandemic, I'd like to think that he would pull something together and say, hey, let's get this event going because it's possible the ESA is not going to be able to hold on to whatever they're desperately trying to hold on to. And the reality is, there was in LA, and I know fucking California's expensive, so can
Yeah.
only imagine what renting the LA Convention Center, what the prices were behind that. I can only imagine.
Bring
So
it to. I mean, I don't know what the. I will imagine that Texas must have a very decent convention center. I will have to imagine, obviously. Just bring it there. There's a whole gaming scene in Texas, the developing studios in Texas, and also it's kind of central to a lot of parts. You know, they can
it's
fly from
also the
Seattle, they
cheap.
can fly from
Yeah.
California, they can fly from Florida, they can fly from Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Um, just just I feel like an E3 now will have to be. It's going to be it's going to be something quite different.
Yeah.
Akin something. like what we experienced in 2011 when they try to like close it down, make it a little bit more intimate and not as super spectacle as it is. Um,
Some more
because first
booth
of all, it's going to
tapes.
be incredible after the pandemic. It's going to be incredibly difficult to convince people to come to an E3 show floor, the place where pretty much everybody that went had a blast, but they always got sick. And you know that's a fact, because we always heard the podcast afterwards. There was always someone sick because they got it from from
Yeah,
their
some
stuff,
sort of cold
some sort
or
of cold,
flu
yeah,
or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
and
Which is possible. I mean,
everything.
you're that close to people and it's
You're
that
you're
packed.
constantly passing controllers and playing and stuff like
Yeah,
that, and
totally.
yeah, it's and also you're opening it to the public, which is not gonna care much about
Hygiene.
policies and stuff like that and hygiene. Yeah. So I don't. So that's I don't see 20 E3 2021. It's still gonna be a digital event. I mean
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's a fact. I'm
For
calling it
sure.
right
For
now.
sure.
That's a fact.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and it's gonna be a while until we actually have something, but that something is by that time. I don't feel like it's going to be a return to form. If anything, it's going to be transformed into uh
Something new.
just
Yeah.
something. Events from like Sony and Microsoft will have their own events from their from their theaters, to their to a smaller group of press people. They're not gonna waste time with hoopla. Well, they usually do the hoopla, but or they used to, but I don't think they're gonna waste time with the hoopla because I think they have matured enough to the point where they realize that yeah, that's not what wows the people that are going into those events. They just want to report, they want to do their job,
Hmm.
you know. But they're finding ways, Ubisoft, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Always
I
one and
think
the same.
that's what's gonna happen. I think that the last E3 that we had was probably in
2013?
2018.
Oh, 2018. Okay.
Yeah, because in 2019 we didn't have Sony, so that was a
Oh,
hard
gotcha.
blow. That was
Yeah.
already
Well,
we
that
have that.
2018 would have been the one where they were showing it was the four games because they only have four games to talk about. And
Yeah.
then the very
Well,
next
at
one
least
they
they were there.
realized, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And you know what? I remember sitting down watching that event and I was impressed. They had an orchestra, and the one before that is when they were talking about God of War, and it started off with a God of
See,
War orchestra. And it's like, man, it's just so many memorable moments. And I can tell you right now, there isn't a memorable moment in any State of Play or
well,
Nintendo Direct
But
or anything that I have
but see the
recently.
difference. But see the difference. You were like you really soaked that in and enjoyed it, and I think most people on the on the press, and I'm not on the press, but I'm going to include myself as people that were expecting these. I just wanted to know about the games. I just wanted to know about the trailers. I yes, they had like my show for those kind of performances would have been an award show easily. That would have been that would have been it, or their own celebration, the Christmas, their holiday thing that they would have the December ones that that Sony had.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, that
PlayStation Experience.
the experience exactly that would have been it. At E3. I just want to see the fucking trailers and and demos. I don't care about a flute playing person. I don't care about hearing someone singing or anything like that because that's not what E3 was. E3 got transformed into that at some point, but the best E3s have been the ones where I don't care if they wanted to have an executive speak for a little bit. I don't want them showing fucking charts like they used to do back in the day. But back
Yeah,
in the day,
I
they
don't want
did that
that.
because it was
Mm.
business. But the ones where they go, okay, here we go, trailer, 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 trailer. Oh, demo, live demo, trailer, 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 live demo, incredible reveal, drop the curtain. Those are the ones that I enjoyed that I enjoyed the most. Just for the games.
2013, bro. 2013 E3.
Was 13 E3 was something else. Yeah.
Probably the last best one. Probably. So. All right, guys. Well, that was us reminiscing on E3 and the fact that it's really never going to come back.
Thank you, Nintendo, for inventing the directs and destroying
and just
our
ruining
happiness.
life.
And no, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Just ruining life. You ruined my childhood. You ruined everything about Mario and
killed everybody
and
I
Zelda
knew
and yeah, fucking Nintendo. What do you know? No, I take all that back. I love Nintendo. But anyway, thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. As always, please, if you haven't already, go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. It takes you right to their Facebook group. And, of course, please like, subscribe, share the podcast with everyone. So we're signing off. This is Mad Dog signing off this week. Simply saying, praise the sun.
You gotta come unprepared for this. If you're gonna say something, if you're gonna have something, just come prepared.
I'm always gonna default now to praise the sun.
I'm gonna default to guys and gals and everybody that listens. Mask up, pants down.
Wow. That is, I got nothing for that. I got nothing. We're just going to end it right there,
Praise
guys.
the sun.
We'll see you next week. GG!